Hey guys, brand new podcast. This is the fucking 5th time I've done this intro. I should just get to the podcast. Today's podcast, I have nothing to promote. Go Big Show's over. Thank you, everybody. New Two Bears, One Cave's out. New Bill Burr's out. Go to Bertcast.com for any info on tour dates or if you have tickets for any upcoming shows. Let's get to it. Today's podcast guest is Rick Glassman. We have a fantastic conversation about Magic the Gathering. I've always been interested by stuff like that. And Rick explains his saga of getting involved with the Magic the Gathering online fan community, which is pretty fascinating and telling of human behavior. But more importantly, he talks me through the cards, collecting the cards, which I find really fascinating. It's probably one of the most interesting conversations I've had on my podcast in a very long time. And I've had some really good podcasts lately. We got a lot of ones locked and loaded. So I apologize if they're not coming out on a timely fashion. We're trying to backlog them and get locked and loaded for everything. 11. I'm seeing double numbers all the time. All right. Rick Glassman's a stand-up comedian. He has a podcast called Take Your Shoes Off. He recently had Kristen Bell on. I haven't seen it, but it looks fucking awesome. But it's a great podcast. And Rick is a very intense dude. Like, he doesn't do anything half-ass. He is an amazing, his podcast is really great. It's really fantastic. I got to watch one with Kristen Bell. He was on Undateable, which was the show all the comics were on. Funches. Who else was on it? D'Elia was on it. Brent Morin. I'm sorry. God damn it, man. My brain's fucking not firing hot yet. So yeah, you're going to have a great podcast. Why am I going to fucking let's skinny it up, Bert. Let's just post the podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, outside our new podcast studio, without further ado, stand-up comedian, actor, podcaster, rug purveyor, Rick Glassman.
He's the man, the myth, the legend, the fucking machine.
Welcome back to another episode of What's Happening with Bert. My name's Rick, and today our host is Bert. How are you feeling, man?
I'm feeling great, actually. I'm really feeling great lately. I feel great physically. I haven't felt great in a long time physically. Mostly because, like, I think my partying got to a place where I was like, it was painful to run. I wasn't giving it my all. And I turned a corner for whatever reason. I think I spent a big chunk sober. I turned a corner and now I'm like running harder than I've ever run. Physically. Do you want to know how great today was? I went out in my front yard.
Yes.
I'm in my underwear with my dogs, but they're like, it looks like shorts. And the guy drives down my street and he goes, "Hey, Bert." I say, "Hey, what's up?" And he goes, "Looking skinny, my man." And just kept driving.
Is there any part of you, I don't know what you're using with this, but at the beginning you were talking about how you're a little intimidated to show your real paranoid self.
Yeah, I'm very intimidated by it.
But is there a part of you that when someone says, "Yo, Bert, looking skinny," where you're like, yes, but also don't know where I live?
No, actually, can I tell you that this is crazy?
Yes.
I am very, it never bothered me that everyone knew where I lived. It made me feel like everyone knows where the mayor lives. Like, they don't kill him.
I don't know where the mayor lives.
For real? Don't we all know where the mayor lives?
What do you guys think? You guys know where the mayor lives? No.
Well, you know where the governor lives. Like, they tell you where his house is.
Okay.
I mean, granted, he has security, but like.
So you base your comfort level on whatever the governor, people know about the governor or the mayor.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
It never bothered me. I was really loose with it. I was really, really loose with it. I used to people would text me and go, "Hey man, just so you know, like, you're telling a story and you're talking about these different places. There's only one place in LA where
You just said cunt.
You should have heard me last night."
Cut to a clip.
But I was like, he's like, "You're really specific on where you live. Like, you talk about all these different places." And he goes, "There's only like one place in the city where all these 3 places are together." And he's like, "Just so you know, it's really easy to find your house."
What were the 3 pieces of data that you gave?
I'm still living there, so I don't want to say it. So,
before we go,
food restaurant.
Before we go further, I forgot that I have a retainer in. I have TMJ disorder.
Do you really?
Or my arm's tired. Not now, but I have to take it out, and I left the case in my car. Let me do that real quick.
Okay, yeah.
We could either cut or you could vamp.
I'll just vamp. Halston, are you trying to sneak eat?
Yes.
I'm I'm having a cold beer. For today, I woke up hungover and I decided I wanted an egg sandwich, and I made one of the best egg sandwiches I've ever made. And then I made Leanne an egg sandwich. And then I made Georgia, it was on a brioche bun. What is
I
that?
don't know if they'll make it in, but
They will.
I just recorded my 100th episode.
I saw the that you're doing advertisers for your friends.
It's my 100th episode, dude. Who cares?
I think it works out great.
Is it really, Bakken?
It's just you'll see Mylar from time to time.
Which one do we need to get rid of?
No, you're perfect.
I don't know where my retainer case is. Oh.
There you go. Leanne my wife just got
Diagnosed with TMJ disorder?
nope. She got Invisalign.
Oh,
Yeah.
you're about to get boners, man.
So gross.
No, but I'm saying once their teeth are straight.
No, they're perfect already. They're not. It's not cosmetic. It's clinical. Like she has a tooth that's bumping, and they need to straighten one tooth. So she got to have it on for 1 year. And I was like, at 50, you decide to get cosmetic surgery, and it's your teeth that you fix.
Calling Invisalign cosmetic surgery
It is.
is
Teeth
like
are-
calling bowling being part of a triathlon. I couldn't find it.
It is cosmetic surgery. Getting your teeth done. Like I've had all my teeth done. It's an interesting choice of balloons. There we go. Much better. Much better.
Perfect. We have Kristen Bell on as our 100th guest.
For real?
Yeah. So,
For real?
yeah.
Kristen Bell is Zach.
Galifianakis' son.
No, Zach Shepard's wife.
Yes.
I get mixed up with Amy Adams, Kristen Bell. Like
And
Anna.
I don't know. There's Amy Adams. There's Sacha Baron Cohen's wife.
Yeah,
And the girl who plays opposite in The Fighter.
Yeah. Wait, that's Amy Adams, right?
Amy Adams, and then there's the one from Wedding Crashers who is with.
Her name's
Sasha.
Isla Fisher.
Those are the two I get confused with.
Yeah, I get them all confused. That's like the Bill Pullman, Bill Paxton.
Is that because they look alike or because of the bills?
Both. Well, they look alike, and they're Bills, and they always got confused. I remember people thought I was Dane Cook's brother. When I first came out, they're like, "Are you guys
Because you look
brothers?"
like Dane, or because you look like Dane's
Yeah,
brother?
I think no, I definitely didn't look like Dane's brother.
You know what his brother looks like?
No, I
Then
actually
why do you
don't.
say that? Why'd you say that with such
Just confidently.
confidence?
I've
I
seen
do
pictures-
not look like.
I've seen pictures of him. I think he's just I think he was a very average looking dude. I think Dane got the looks in the family.
It's like she wants to tell me a secret.
So wait, how did you get Anna Paquin on?
Hannah Paquin is a different, is like a fourth person name.
How did you get Kristen Bell on your podcast? She seems like she's positive energy, huh?
She's great. She's great, positive energy.
Did you know?
I just asked.
Did you do a movie with her or something?
No,
You just reached
I
out.
just reached out.
You're like, hey, Kristen Bell.
Yeah, I said, hey, Kristen, you want to do my 100th episode? And she said, yeah.
For real?
Yeah.
You'd never met her.
I met her.
Oh, where did you meet her?
My ex-girlfriend, can I say that?
A
A girl I used to date?
Yeah.
And Kristen are friends. And my ex, Jackie, is still a friend of mine.
How'd that work out?
Being friends with an ex?
Yeah.
Incidentally, a guest that you made earlier, a movie. Movies will make you friends. So Jackie Tone, do you know Jackie? She's a comedian.
No. Oh, yeah, I'm sure I do. I'm bad at names. And faces.
She and I were dating, and then we broke up. Everything was fine, but we're not having parties together. We broke
Yeah.
up.
Yeah.
And then a couple years goes by, and we were both in the same movie with each other, and we found out the day of the table read. And then we were always very, very good friends. It's just it's hard to be friends with somebody after you broke up with them.
Yeah.
But then, yeah, we did a movie together.
And
We've been close
since you
since.
destroyed their character to everyone behind their back,
Never.
that's what I do.
Why?
Because I'm not a grown up.
Well, tell me something bad about Bill Paxton.
Oh, Bill Paxton's dead. That's like the worst thing you can say.
Who's the other one?
What was I'm dyslexic, and I certain read.
Were you
words,
just grabbing a tit?
No. I'm dyslexic, and certain words fuck me up. I have a list of them. I try to write them down as they show up, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I'll tell you one that gets me all the time, and it makes me giggle, and I know you're not supposed to giggle like this. I'll tell you the list of words. Hold on. Okay. Muslims. I always mix the two up. So I'll read a bunch of muscles and I'm like, what the fuck?
What was that? What was the rest of that sentence?
I don't know. It wasn't gonna go good. All right, muscles, Muslims, daring and darling, veteran and vegetarian, ingenious and indigenous, tranny and tyranny. I get that one mixed up all the time. They're like, we got to get rid of all these trannies. What the fuck? Oh, it's tyranny in this country.
We have to get rid of all these tyrannies?
Tyrannies. No, like I don't know the exact sentence.
It sounds like an Italian dessert.
All I know is tyranny was up on Stop the Tyranny or whatever. On CNN, and I misread it, and I was like, what the fuck?
Right.
Puns and guns, and then the one I forgot the one that started.
Give me a puns and guns example. And you know what's interesting about that one? No matter what, it'll be a pun. Kids trying out puns at school, and I'm like, what the fuck? That would be nuts.
Yeah. Wait, what was the one I wanted to say was the very beginning of this, and I forgot it. What were we talking about right before I said?
I don't know, man. But it's so cool that you made it to be successful.
Talking about destroying
names: Paxton, Kristen,
Pullman.
Pullman.
I got it.
Fisher.
You ready? You ready? I read that someone got canceled, and I went, shut the fuck up. And then my wife's like, no, they got cancer. I went, oh, so much better.
We'll be right back.
I was like, I'd much rather have I think you can beat cancer. What would you rather have, testicular cancer or a viral video of you shouting the N-word?
What's the context of the video?
Okay, it's All-Star Weekend. It's All-Star Weekend, and you tell a bunch of guys you can dunk, and they say no, and they won't let you dunk. And then it's you on the court just shouting the N-word.
Am I saying this to like people like LeBron?
Yeah.
So in your hypothetical, you're saying, would you rather have testicular
cancer,
or be chumming it up with LeBron,
but then dropping an N-bomb on him?
I mean,
listen. Okay. How about this? Is this okay? Ready? You guys have been okay. Here's the video. Ready? You and LeBron have actually been hanging out and joking around. Hold on.
You have my attention.
Hold on. So you and LeBron have been choking around and joking about it. And he said, you're a comedian. He says, hey, you ever say the N-word on stage? You're like, no, actually, I'm not really say that word. And he's like, you've never said it? And you're like, no, I've never said it. Then no one sees this. This is you and LeBron.
Right.
And he's like, you've never said it. And you're like, no, I've never said it. And he's like, I can't believe that. And you're like, LeBron, trust me. I wouldn't lie to you. So then you guys are playing one-on-one.
What's the score before the next thing happens?
It's you're playing to 11. It's by twos, right? It's 9-9.
By twos? I mean, win by two.
Yeah, how would you get to 11 if you were playing by twos?
I get ones and twos.
And you go, you Kim.
You guys are playing ball. You guys are playing 2-pointers.
And then someone throws on a camera and they're videotaping it. And you take the ball and you go to dunk and your balls hit LeBron in the nose and he falls back on the court. And as a joke, you go, take that. And to LeBron saying you've never said it, you say the N-word. He laughs, but as he laughs, he hits his head and he goes unconscious. Now, he can't tell anyone, this is a running joke. He's unconscious. All they have is you dunking on LeBron, nuts to the face, and you dropping an N-bomb on him as an inside joke. If he was conscious, he could clear you in a heartbeat.
Right. So
then that's the viral
so this
video.
Is kind of one of two options happens there. Either he wakes up and then you're good. He explains it. Well, I don't know if you're good,
or he dies,
which is kind of like the end of spoiler alert season 1 of Game of Thrones, where now it's like his champion who could have fixed everything is done.
Yeah.
Question: would people be more upset if somebody called LeBron a bad name, or that the fact that they decommissioned him?
What do you mean decommissioned? Like took him out of the game?
If he's out of the game now, that's bigger news.
This is a double whammy. I mean,
I say let's move on.
Or
no, I'm saying from this
you find
hypothetical.
a very curable testicular cancer is if you find early detection.
I don't know, man. I don't want to talk about it. I got a varicocele in my testicle. My grandfather had one testicle.
One testicle?
Yeah.
For real?
Yeah.
Shut up. Born with it, just one, or lost it?
No, I think he got it removed from something maybe like this.
Oh, so this
I think somebody actually, because my grandfather is a musician, arranger, producer. He arranged and produced all of Ray Charles's music after 1959. He did all the strings for the orchestras. He conducted them. They were very close. Really? Yeah. And that is real. Somebody gave my grandfather a similar hypothetical with Ray Charles, and
he lost the testicle.
All that is true, though. I am proud. Like, it's a bragging point of my grandpa with Ray.
Your grandfather's. I feel like your grandfather would have the name Ira.
Sid.
For real? It's a good name.
Yeah.
Are you Jewish?
Thank you. But yes.
Yeah. I called someone Asian white on accident.
What do you mean to call him?
I was
Brian?
No, I said this is a problem with you fucking white women. She goes, I'm not white. And I went, oh, sorry. I didn't pick it up. I don't know. I don't see color, Rick. You know that's a hate crime to say now.
I don't know, man, but I'm hating the topic of conversation. So why don't we just move on and talk more about muscles?
Okay.
Okay. Welcome to the outside space, my friend.
When you break up with a girl, what's your process?
I've never broken up with a girl. Never once.
Okay.
I've always been broken up with 100% of the time.
Really?
Correct. And even if there's been times where I wanted to break up and I would like leave some breadcrumbs, like kind of leave them like here's your out.
I've done that. I've made it so that they really want to break up with me.
I feel like being in a relationship, you want to get broken up with in the same way where you'd rather be fired than quit, because then you still get your unemployment and your pension.
No, I have been fired. I've been about to get fired and I quit. And before
You're
they
doing it all,
me,
that's your dyslexia.
Yep. It's Barnes and Noble. It was the biggest fuck up.
Did you almost cry?
No, but my tits got loose.
I've been there.
Where you get like your energy is like fucking pattering and you're like, oh God, this is like.
I meant just now you made a noise.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
No,
so you get fired for what? What's the job?
Barnes and Noble. I got fired for working out in the basement in my underwear. Sometimes naked.
Really?
But mostly in my
Why would you be naked? Was it a comedy thing?
There was no air conditioning in this Barnes and Noble.
Yeah, but how much cooler is it to be without underwear?
I'll explain it to you. I had on a collared shirt, a tie, khakis, and like dress shoes. But I'd go down to the basement. There's no air conditioning in the Astor Place Barnes and Noble. That's in the Village. I think it's now gone. But there was no air conditioning, and so I'd go down to the basement. I was doing push-ups and stuff, trying to get in shape because I wanted to be a comedian and actor. I thought you needed to be in shape, so I was eating diet fuels. You ever eat diet fuels or Rip Fuels?
Of course not.
They're fucking so much caffeine. I'm humming. But if I'd work out, then I'd start sweating, and I'd sweat through my shirt. So what I'd do is I'd take off my clothes. I'd work out. I'd then calm down, stop sweating, put my clothes back on, go upstairs. And once you were in the basement,
But why take off your underwear?
I know sometimes I didn't wear underwear, so that was the scenario there.
I'm at home. Let's say I'm back in my hometown.
Okay.
And some of my boys, they're like, yo, Rick, we're going on over to the old high school, the old stomping grounds.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, that sounds. I would love to do that. We go. We're sitting in the cafeteria. Everyone brought some lunch. We're eating. Hey, Mrs. Tetherbomb, whatever. We're reliving our days, checking out our old lockers. Having a great time. Then Kev says, hey, why don't we check out the pool? We go over to the pool. I didn't bring my bathing suit. Right?
Yeah.
I guess I missed out.
No.
I
go naked.
Get naked, even if there's people around that are uncomfortable.
Well, if it's all my friends, I definitely I'm cool with them being uncomfortable. I've done that many a time. I've gotten naked with women before, where I was the one, like, I was in Greece and there were these girls. We were walking back to our place. Careful. And this girl goes, we should go swimming. And I was like, let's go. And she's like, we don't have bathing suits. I said, I can solve that. And they started laughing. I took off all my clothes. I don't have a big dick. And then they were like, fuck it. They got naked.
How much of your identity is now with
not having a big dick?
No. Clearly it bought you a mansion. Bless you. How much of your identity is the validation that you've gotten from naked, shirt off, that type of humor, to where does it drive you into like, I could do this, I could get away from it, versus where is it like, where do you not want to lean too much into it? Does that question make sense?
Not entirely, I think, but I think I get it.
There are some people that are comfortable being naked and some people aren't. For whatever reason, that's just the way it is. Yep. You not only are comfortable in it, you make a meal out of it, right?
Yeah.
What is it? If it's why are people embarrassed? Is it a vanity? Is it an ego thing? I don't know why I'm embarrassed. I'd be embarrassed to be naked and I don't know why.
I think I can tell you the day I didn't get embarrassed. I was in college and there was a big, we were doing a big slip and slide and there was a sorority there and I was supposed to have picked up all the glass on the ground and they're like, and I had clothes on.
Why is there glass on the ground?
Parties, just broken bottles. But I didn't. I really didn't. I was hungover. And they're like, all right, Kreischer, you picked up all the glass? And like, yeah. They go, we put it down. So you slide first. I said, I don't have a bathing suit. And they're like, I don't give a fuck. I was a pledge. And they're like, and all the girls are there. They're not all the girls, but there's a bunch of girls there. And I said, well, what did you guys go in my jeans? And they're like, or naked. And these girls started, just go naked. And I said, all right. And I took my jeans off and they started laughing. But I'm not at my dick, but just the idea that I was naked. And I did it and I cut my asshole open. I cut back there and it started pouring blood. But that was the first time I was like, and I was bleeding naked. And I was like, oh, fuck. But I just realized at that time, I realized there was a power in nudity. There was a power once you take your pants off as a guy, not in like an aggressive situation, but in like a fun party situation. Your guys are at a swimming hole, you're at the ocean, and everyone wants to jump in, and you just get naked and do it. There's almost like a Tom Sawyer-esque like wholesomeness to it, where everyone goes, as long as you're not threatening somebody, where everyone goes, yeah, and there's a power. And then
do you feel it's like a vulnerability, like you're willing to be vulnerable?
I'm willing to put myself out there, and then there are guys who shut down, and it's funny. I've had
shut down when you're naked.
Shut down because now everyone's and the girls get naked, and they're like, come on, and he won't. And when he doesn't, that's when the girls go, oh, what's wrong with him? And so it's interesting. I've had this a number of times. Key West, we were in Key West, and we were on a balcony, and it was in college, and these girls were like, let's just get naked. And we were partying, and we were sitting on a balcony overlooking Duval Street, or the big strip in Key West. And we all got naked. This is the day before Kurt Cobain died. And we all got naked. And one guy wouldn't. And they were like, what's wrong with you? Why are you afraid of your body? Are you ashamed of your body? They're like, we're looking at Bert's dick. It's not huge. Take to be naked. And
Kurt Cobain is Nirvana?
Yeah.
Do you think is there any connection to this with the little penis in the pool?
The person who I'm talking about, if he's listening to this, I told people the day before Kurt Cobain died as a joke.
That he was the baby in the pool?
No, I said to everyone in Key West, I was like, oh my God, Kurt Cobain died. They're like, what? And I was like, I'm just kidding. And then the next day he died.
Is that true?
True. And my buddy's like, I think you called it.
I don't like that.
But I've never had a problem with getting naked, but I'm also a Speedo guy. I have a tactile issue things, so I'm not a big clothes guy.
Yeah, I can't wear pants.
Long pants?
Yeah, I can wear sweatpants.
Really?
Yeah, if it doesn't have an elastic waist, wearing pants for me would be like the average person wearing contacts. If they have to do it for work, they'll do it, but you're just constantly going like this.
Yep. I have the same problem with underwear. I'm wearing underwear right now. I'm only wearing underwear because I thought I might work out after this.
And you would work out in your underwear.
I can't work out without underwear on. I have to.
Well, not since Barnes and Nobles. You lost your pension.
Yeah. Well, like if I'm going to run or do weights, I need to have underwear on for some reason. I think anything athletic, I have to have underwear on.
But what about shorts? Do you work out in shorts?
I work out in running shorts, or I'll work out in sweatpants. But if I wear sweatpants, I have to wear underwear.
How is this affecting you guys with
who
headphones?
cares? Can you hear it, Halston?
All that music?
Nah, it's fine.
It's weird. It's weird doing a podcast not having. I don't like. I mean, it is what it is. But I don't like not wearing headphones because it almost feels like filming something that I could, like if I had a camera but I wasn't looking at the screen of the camera, I get what I'm getting. I'm getting Bert, but if I can't see it, I don't know what it really looks like, and I don't know what it really sounds like. So there's little.
That's interesting.
I'm not thrown off. I don't think it's the best word, but words. But it is like I think you should get headphones out here.
I can't do headphones.
You never wear them.
I've never worn them on this show.
On any shows, I can't picture.
I do it on Rogan, but if I do it on Rogan, and I get high, I start having not panic attacks, but almost like weird out of body things because I go, am I listening to this show or am I on this show?
I want to talk to you about money.
Okay.
I just did my 100th episode.
Yeah.
I just started getting more ads. I was always getting ads myself, and now I have somebody helping getting ads.
Yeah.
And I think I'm going to start making some money.
Yeah.
And I am a collector. I'm a Magic the Gathering and comic book collector.
Oh, I remember you got into a big war with people on Facebook.
Oh, you saw me on the post I had on Instagram or Twitter. Yeah, so I joined a Facebook group because some of these cards, they're very rare. You can't, it's not like they're not only expensive. How do you even find them?
Yeah.
Like you go on eBay, people are asking $200,000. It's like, that's not I'm not going to be able to buy that card.
Yeah.
So I found these groups on Facebook, and, I asked you earlier, how do you feel about people being like, oh, Bert lives there, and I'm not like the mayor. I I don't want people knowing. I mean, I'm talking about here. It's not a secret. It's just I don't enjoy it if I don't feel a sense of anonymity.
Yeah.
So I changed my Facebook name. So I don't want people like looking up who I am so they know where they're sending the card, stuff like that. And people thought that I was trying to steal from them and they were bullying me. And they were, some people don't let him into the group. I changed my name when that stuff happened. I don't want to talk too much about this. It doesn't matter. It's negative, blah, blah, blah.
Why? Okay.
Before I changed my name, I was in there as me. Then when people were, I was asking some questions. It's too boring. It's
not boring because first of all, I don't know anything about Magic the Gathering. Like I know it's a thing, and I know that people are really into it, but I don't understand the lure of it. And I'm afraid the same way you would find out like, oh, the power in cutting. And then I'd go, now I'm a cutter, or like.
Oh, but cutting is
control.
Depreciates your body. Magic cards appreciate.
So wait, tell me. Let me
show you that. Let me give you a little. So I'm getting cards, and I happen to have just picked. I haven't opened these yet, and I got a package, and I was going to maybe open on my podcast, but I had them with me, and there's a lot of different sets, right? Magic came out in 1993. Alpha, Beta, Unlimited. Those are kind of the big three. You've heard of a Black Lotus? Nerd. Black Lotus is the creme de la creme. Okay.
Yeah.
So Beta is a set that I kind of want to collect. It's very expensive. I don't know how far I'll go. Maybe every time I book something, I'll get a nice card or something.
As a present to yourself.
Yeah. I did that with Undateable. Every season I bought an item.
Yeah.
So there's these cards and you could get them graded. I don't know if you're familiar with gradings.
Is that? No.
But here, check this out. They have an overall grade. In the top right, these are 9.5s.
Yeah.
And underneath, there's subgrades. You could see. So the difference between is this really we're talking about?
This is keep going. So the grade, it's out of 10. I'm guessing
it's out of 10. 10 is perfect.
The centering is a 10 on this one. The edges are a 9.5, meaning there has to be some flaw. In
a 9.5. A 9.5 is basically perfect. To get a 10, you could pull this straight out of a pack, and 1 out of 100, if that, will be a 10. It's almost impossible to get a 10.
Meaning the card is perfect. It's
not only is it perfect, the centering, the edges, the corners, and the surface are all 10 out of 10. Perfect, flawless. I don't know how many 10s exist of any card, but I come from a place where. When I used to collect more like 5+ years ago, the grading was PSA. These are Beckett. Those are the main two, PSA and BGS, right? Uh-huh. PSA just does 1 through 10. There's no subgrades. I'm feeling so insecure talking about this.
No. By the way, I'm fascinated.
Okay.
I am fascinated. And can I tell you this is what I love about a podcast is there are people going, I have heard of Magic the Gathering. I know nothing about it. And now I'm going, oh, okay,
I want the goal is to get more hobbyists involved because what's cool about Magic is it's now almost 30 years around. Kids that played, their kids play now. It's multi-generational. It has solidified itself as a game that's lasting. Since quarantine hit, I don't know if you're aware of what has happened in collectibles.
No.
A lot of businesses went under. The ones that the people that did okay have more, I don't know if it's a coincidence you moved during this. People are thinking more about spending their money on things other than travel or anything they would have before. Collectibles have skyrocketed. And there are cards that were worth $200 that are worth over $1,000 now, just in the past few months.
Okay.
So I am entering a market that is new to me. I don't know about subgrades. I'm asking questions about subgrades. And dude, I never really got bullied as a kid. I was not included with people, and I didn't even know I wasn't included. I was just like, and I've talked about this on my podcast, but I would be like, hey, Bert, you want to come over? And he'd be like, I can't, I'm busy. And I'd be like, okay. And I'd ask you again next week.
Yeah.
It was just like, these are all my friends. I had no idea. My only idea of like cliche bullying is from movies that doesn't really exist until you go into some of these Magic chat rooms. Really? And they are fucking vicious. Some of them are so nice and helpful. And some of them are, hey, I'm looking for so that card. So
this is Fireball,
right? So there's a lightning bolt. A lightning bolt is a card I was looking for, right? Let me see. Lightning bolt. I'm looking for it in a 9.5. There's a thing called 9.5 basic and 9.5 quad. 9.5 quad is every grade is minimum 9.5.
Okay.
But if you have 1 9 and 3 9.5s, the overall grade is still a 9.5. But that's a 9.5 basic, you idiot. I don't know.
Yeah.
So I'm looking online. I'm finding a 9.5 basic, and they are around between $700 and $1,000. And I'm thinking,
Can you tell the difference between a 9.5 basic and a 9.5 quad?
here's what's crazy about it. I for the past couple months have been doing crazy research. I could be a grader at this point. But the game is people buy raw cards, meaning ungraded, and they look at it and you could buy a card that looks like it's in really good condition for $1,500. You get it graded. It looks like a 9.5. It gets graded and it comes back a 9.5 quad. Then that $1,000 card could be worth $10,000. Same card.
Oh, shit.
So there are some people that get it graded and you get 3 9.5s and 1 9 and it's half the price. So you regrade. Point is, I'm collecting data. I'm trying to understand because at some point I might be buying some real cards. And I'm looking and I offer $1,000 for this one card and people are laying into me.
This is a lightning bolt card?
Yeah, I offer like $900 some for a lightning bolt. A 9.5 basic is probably worth a little under $1,000. A quad is worth a little over $2,000. They did everything but call me a kike and just fucking ripping me apart, leaving comments. And then I find out there's side rooms. Like I'm in rooms with like 4,000, 2,000, and 10,000 people. I'm in 3 different rooms.
Yeah.
There's like these side rooms where some of these like the godfathers of these Facebook groups meet and they're like talking about me. And there's this one guy who has a collection that it's like pornographic. It's ridiculous. I saw he posted it. I don't imagine it's going to sell because who's going to spend this kind of money, but he's trying to get $1.6 million for his collection and it's worth it. I mean,
really?
You could buy, I'm not going to, but if we partnered up on a podcast and called it Teaching Magic, and as part of the saga, it was buying this collection and then selling it off individually, I bet you we would make some good money on it.
Really?
But I'm talking to this guy. It's unbelievable. I want to just look at these cards. He lives in Chicago. I reach out to him and I send him an eBay message first. Long story short, we chat on the phone for like an hour and a half. We're talking nostalgia. We're talking magic. And I'm going to fly out to Chicago. I'm going to fly out to Ohio, where I'm from, drive out, make like a little documentary episode about it. And he said that because I also do this, but a lot of people, they don't keep their cards at home. They safety deposit boxes and stuff.
Really?
So, but he agreed, he doesn't know me, to get all of his cards, bring him to his place, and I'm trying to make him feel safe. And he's a cop. He said that he's
got guns.
Yeah. And he's like now making me a little uncomfortable, but it's like, it's fine, He's so nice. He's like my new magic friend. But I'm trying to figure it out because I start filming a show next month and I want to get it in the can. And he sends me a message, very transparent, and I'm also aware of this because I've been experiencing it. And he goes, "Hey, there's been a couple guys in the group that don't want me to do this podcast with you, and I've been standing up for you, and I don't agree. They don't trust you. It wasn't that they don't trust. It was, yes, I'll tell you what it was. They didn't trust. I didn't know at the time. I found out, and I think it would be better if we just cool off and maybe we do it later once the room starts to believe you." I didn't know what was going on. Where is this distrust? Coincidentally, after people were bullying me, I changed my name because I don't want people messaging me and finding.
Yeah.
Then I didn't realize that people went from bullying me to then not trusting me. So there's some people that bully me. Then he changes his name. So now they're like, oh, so now he's blah, blah, blah. And now more people are coming. It wasn't a great move for me for that reason, but I should have changed my name beforehand. And so then I found out, people. So then I'm like, not that I'm this bigwig, but I want to be like, listen, man, like you could see who I am. I'm verified.
Yeah, I'm a real person.
I have, I had Will Smith on my podcast.
Yeah.
So he goes and tells some of these other people. And now what happened is they all think, and they found out that I'm doing this show. I'm doing the show on Amazon where it's about autism. And within autism.
Is this when you start shooting next month?
Yeah. And in autism, I think it's fair to assume that a lot of those people are going to be nerds, right? And nerds play magic. And they are convinced that I'm in there doing character research, which, first of all, who cares?
Yeah.
What is that going to affect anything? But they think that I'm not a true collector, or I'm going to bring negative attention, or there are a lot of people that this is fine to talk about.
Dude, I'm fucking fascinated. Are you kidding me?
So there are people, and I'm one of these people, that believe that magic cards, collectibles, but I'm a magic guy, are collectibles, but an investment, not just an investment like stocks, but an actual store of of value. I bought some stuff on Dateable Days 5 years ago that I am now considering. I rent an apartment. I could put a down payment on a house from a couple of things I bought. Yeah, cards and comics. And I've been this way since I was a kid. I was buying and selling all the time. But it wasn't until recently that I started to kind of really understand these are, you don't want to pay taxes on your $10,000, put into a Magic card, and now it's worth $100,000. And, I'm not condoning this. I don't know what's appropriate or not, but you sell it for Bitcoin or whatever it is. It's just, there are people that probably, it's drug dealing, legal drug dealing. And also you get, I look at this stuff and I get dopamine hits. They're really drugs. I'm addicted. So there are people that I guess don't want Hollywood. And I quote this because somebody had said to me, I'm not short, basically saying what people are saying. You're just doing one of your Hollywood tricks in order to blah, blah. And I'm like, I'm not Daniel Day, dude. I'm just fucking trying to buy some beta cards.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I've since made some purchases and now people are like, okay with me. And like friendly, and a couple of people know about this podcast and talking about the podcast, and I'm thinking, if I were just some guy who was trying to do research for my character, and that was a problem for reasons I still don't understand, if all I would have to do would be buying $1,000 Magic card and you guys would trust me, who's to say that I'm still not that guy?
Yeah.
Anyway, so now I'm collecting cards. I have these friends, and I'm in high school again, and I am. Part of me doesn't want to say all this, but I don't keep it at my house, but I still don't want people knowing I own this stuff, and I don't yet, but I'm looking at some cards right now that are so expensive.
Really?
I can never buy them. I would never, from my bank account, spend this kind of money on a card.
Yeah.
But the fact that I have these cards and I'm selling them for cash, I've already sold some for cash, and I haven't worked in 10 years, and I have more money than I ever have because of this stuff.
For real.
And
I can understand how people would go, we found a thing that is not only our absolute dopamine rush passion, but is fairly lucrative. I can understand.
It's also nostalgic from when we were 13 years old.
Yeah. If you're a contact lens wearer, ordering contacts can be a hassle. Now, ordering contacts without leaving the house is super easy and super doable with 1-800-CONTACTS. 1-800-CONTACTS has been delivering contact lenses for 25 years and have your contacts in stock regardless of whether or not you have a strong prescription or astigmatism. With 25 years in the business, they've made getting contact lenses incredibly fast and easy. They even have a way to renew your prescription online if it's expired. And it's worth remembering that if you order now and use your Flex Spend account or vision insurance benefits before they expire, you can renew your prescription online in just 10 minutes. Couldn't be simpler. You order the same contacts you would get from the doctor. Just look on the side of your contact box for prescription details. I actually did that today. Oddly enough, I did that today. And my wife's like, wow, your prescription isn't even that bad. You can order online or over the phone or with their app and ship them fast and free to your home. You can even renew your prescription online using their express exam. They have your contacts in stocks. And like I said, they've been doing this for 25 years. They're experts in the business. They have award-winning 24/7 customer service. So if you ever need help or have any questions, they're there for you. And they're the best price guaranteed, meaning if you find your contacts at a lower price anywhere else, they're going to beat it. So let 1-800-CONTACTS get you the contact lenses you need. Order online at 1-800-CONTACTS.com. Losing weight can be so complicated these days. Everything you know about getting healthy, there's contradictory information out there to support or unsupport your ideas. We should use the food pyramid. Oh, no, you can't do carbs. You should do carbs. Do carbs before you work out. Look, here's the deal. If you want to lose weight, if you want to just get healthier, enter Noom. Noom is not about what you just ate, but about how you eat in general. Noom teaches you about eating, your cravings, how to build new healthy habits so you can ditch those misconceptions and get smart about the food and the choices you make. Based on psychology, Noom teaches you how to eat so you accomplish your personal health goals and stick with them through the long term, because you don't need rules to lose weight. You just need knowledge. With Noom, you pick the health goals that are right for you, and Noom personalizes a weight loss program to help you with your aspirations and make them become a reality For me, Noom's a game changer. I'm not accountable on what I eat. I eat like crazy, and then all of a sudden I murder a candy bar, and I find out 2 days later it has 500 calories. Noom is so amazing when it comes to losing weight. Everything is based in psychology. They teach you why you choose what you choose, and then gives you the tools to replace those habits with healthier ones. Noom's cognitive behavioral approach means you're not just losing weight, you're building the healthy habits to keep it off. That's what's important. How many times have I lost weight and not kept it off? Because I'm not using any healthy habits whatsoever. Noom is forgiving, because if you're human, you're going to go off track. Like I did this morning. I ate 5 eggs and a piece of cheese on top of the 5 eggs, scrambled, soft. Ugh. But that's okay. I'll be on track tomorrow. Everyone's busy, and that's why Noom doesn't demand that much of your time. They literally just ask for 10 minutes, and over 80% of the Noomers finish the program, and over 60% have stuck with their goals over the last year. There's a science to getting healthier, and it's called Noom. Sign up for your trial today at Noom. Noom, Noom.com/Bertcast. Learn how to eat again with Noom. Sign up for your trial today at Noom, Noom.com/Bertcast. Ready to live healthier? Sign up for Noom today. Noom, Noom.com/Bertcast. By the way, I haven't even asked, but I'm dying to ask. But I want keep going. But I'm curious. This is super rudimentary. How do you play Magic the Gathering?
I have no idea. No, I'm just kidding. The basics of it are, it's a collectible card game. It's there's different formats of it, but the basic and the way I learned it, and still the only way I'll play, is you have a deck. There are tens of thousands, if not now hundreds of thousands. No, there's probably, I don't know. There's at least tens of thousands of different cards from different sets, a few sets that come out a year for the past 29 years or so, right?
So every year a new set comes out?
Every year a few sets come out usually. And in each set there's between, there's like 300 cards. So there's tons of cards. And so there's almost there's basically an unlimited amount of cards you could have. And you build a deck. There's 5 colors: black, red, blue, green, white. And you could be 1 or up to 1 to 5 colors, or no colors, artifacts. You build this deck. Each person starts with 20 life points. The object of the game, there are other little loopholes and stuff, but the object of the game is I'm a sorcerer, you're a sorcerer, and we are playing our spells and our creatures, and we are trying to attack. And I could attack you. You could have your creatures block, or the damage is dealt to you. I need to get through all of your spells to keep hitting you down until your life point is at 0 or less. And then you win.
And then do I get your cards?
There is a thing called an ante, which is gambling, but that's usually not done anymore. I mean, I guess you could casually, but the competitive version are sanctioned tournaments, and there's like a World Series of Magic where you play and it's the World Series of Poker, same format.
Yeah.
There's people that are nationally ranked. I used to play and I was ranked in like 2009, 2010. That's when I was buying and collecting and playing, and then I went away. Undateable, I now come into a little bit of money. My cards have gone up a lot in value. I see some potential. So I buy some things I've always wanted. I now have a little bit of money. I'm buying some stuff. Since then, I mean, they've between 4 and 10x'd. And
really,
yeah. So anyway, and then I guess, I don't know, I could send a picture, but who cares? But I found these cases, these like, I keep my camera equipment in them, but I always think of it as Desperado, how he has his guitar and all the gun that fit all of these cards perfectly. And it's beautiful. But I don't remember how we got into it, but I was bullied like a motherfucker in there. And then all of a sudden I'm like, I never used Facebook. I'm in there all the time, like my mom, checking these little groups and talking to my little friends. And God. Bitcoin is another one, man,
Did you get invested in Bitcoin?
Yeah, I've been in Bitcoin, not since the beginning by any means, like 2017.
Yeah.
And I have very little money in my bank account. Very little.
Everything's just
always
invested in everything.
Magic cards, cryptocurrencies, and stocks. And whenever I have to pay my bills, I sell stocks a few days before the end of the month. And that's where the money comes from. Really? And there is a fear that I have, because I still feel like even though I have these assets, it still feels unrealized to me, because anything could happen tomorrow. You know what I mean? But I don't know. Am I gambling, or am I being like, I sold a little bit of my crypto in January and some this month, but I held on to it because my goal from the beginning was this is going to be happening. This is years and years down the road.
Yeah.
But in 2018, I was rich from crypto. I had no money. All of a sudden I was rich. I'm in London for the first time. I'm buying suits, glasses, spending all this money.
Yeah.
Goes all the way down. I never got any of that money. I'm poor again. And I remember saying that, Rick, you have to take something from this. Remember to always take profits. And I always tell myself that. And it's really losing that money. This is corny, but like it did a good thing, I think, for me. I mean, not really. I lost $500,000. But it was, since then, I'm always taking GameStop. I'm into. I'm taking profit. I'm just always
pulling out the profit to pay bills.
But at what point is that conservative, pulling out profits, versus where am I like? Because I'm trying to have. I believe in crypto, Bitcoin in particular, so much that by me taking it out now, am I being foolish? Am I being greedy? Because I want to, I don't think I'm being greedy.
No, yeah, not greedy, but are you being short-sighted?
Am I being short-sighted? So, but I still said it doesn't matter because Rick from 3 years ago told you to do something that you agreed to. So I'm still selling. But when you sell something and then you see keep going up, I was getting very anxious for a while. And my dad has told me this before, and his dad told him this, but my dad says there's no such thing as bad profit. And that like completely freed me up because I was obsessing. Because when you sell something and then it goes up 50% the next day. Anyway, so
I'm not in the stock market at all. I mean, I take that back. I am, but I'm not.
Well, let's buy this Magic collection.
Fucking, my wife's gonna be here in an hour.
Can we get 3 other guys?
If we pull some money and just buy a Magic collection?
Here's the thing. Here's what I want to do. Because for content, and we write it off. If I find a collection that is, not only is it, we could at least get most of our money back. Like conservatively, at least, we're not going to really lose a lot of money on this.
Yeah.
But it would be an attractive enough so for people like me who are in this space would want to watch this thing. And we document it. We make a 5-episode, a 10-episode series, flipping cards or whatever. You know what I mean?
See, I have I'm not a collector, but I'm a dopamine guy, obviously. And certain things like a rock, a smooth feeling rock, will provide dopamine to me.
Why?
I have no idea. I wish I could fucking figure out my
What
brain.
a win for you.
And so, well, it's a little bit of obsessive compulsiveness too. In that if I go to the beach, I make sure to find a rock, and then I have a big thing of rocks. And I like crystals. Like I'm into crystals. I'm into like a ring, like certain things. I'm a big dopamine guy, so I'm afraid that I would get into Magic the Gathering and then all of a sudden go, oh shit, I really enjoy looking at these. Like football pencils. Remember football pencils?
Yeah. I mean, I don't remember them as. I know what a football pencil is.
No, they're very specific. I think if you're,
are you talking about the pencils that have different NFL teams on them?
Yeah. So when I was a kid, they were really hard to get a hold of in Tampa. If you had football pencils, you were the gangster.
Uh-huh.
And I went everywhere with my mom, everywhere. And I don't know if this is what you're talking about when you talk about Magic, but my first grade year, I had a hard time with school, really hard time.
Uh-huh.
I didn't like being away from my family and my parents, and I thought everyone was going to die and I'd be left alone. And my reward for getting through school was football pencils. I could get football pencils. My mom and I must have driven everywhere in Tampa looking for football pencils. And when I finally got football pencils, they were a way for me to get through the depression of being away from the anxiety of being away. I would, in class, if I got sad, I'd pull out a football pencil and I'd look at it and I would think, Monday Night Football, the Raiders are playing the fucking whoever. And I'd look at the pencil and I'd kind of disappear a little bit. So one day I have kids. I'm just kind of really discovering the internet, like the possibilities of it. It's around when MySpace is blowing up and eBay. And I'm sure everyone was into it way more than I was. And I have the first purchase that I think everyone's gone through where you go, I wonder if I could find football pencils. Mm-hmm. And I bought football pencils and they came to my house and it was like being in first grade again. I would sit at my desk and just look at a football pencil and the Rams. Then, the Rams weren't back in LA at the time, but it was Los Angeles Rams. And I would fantasize about watching the Rams, the shine the helmet had in night games. It was like I don't know, certain things. So I'm a big dopamine guy. Like, and so when you talk about those cards, I go, oh, I can see myself having a problem with that.
Yeah. That's very also. That's the fact that your mom was willing to do that is really is sweet.
Yeah. Oh, she was a pretty great mom. She's still alive, but
she's not a good mom anymore.
No, she's a fucking. She was a better grandmother than she was mom, in my opinion. But I think that's because she had kids young, and she still had dreams and hopes, and found out that shit goes on a back burner. You're now a teacher.
I know that from a lot of singing competitions, that a lot of people, when they're like in their late 30s, early 40s, their kids have finally finished high school, so now they're trying to make their singing dreams come true. But pardon the interruption.
No. And but as a grandma, she's like fucking, I don't remember her being that kind of mom. Like, she is on the floor playing with kids, like fucking super attentive grandmother. And as a mom, I hope she never hears this. I remember her at times being disconnected. Like, just, she used to do this thing with my sisters. If you said to my sisters, my mom would do this thing with her hand, and she'd just stare off in space and go. And I was always like, I've always thought, oh, she's thinking about being a singer or an ice skater. It's crazy when you get to, like, when you get gifted the opportunity to go after your dreams, to start looking at people who don't have the opportunity.
Interesting.
You know?
Yeah. You also remember your mom through the eyes of a kid.
Yeah.
I think about that sometimes when I look at I've always been very close with my parents. And they are my mom and my dad. But whenever it happened, I don't think it was a particular moment, but there was a moment. And I remember before this moment happened, I remember hearing this would happen because my mom talked about this about her parents. They become your friends and people. And I'm seeing a guy. He's my dad. And sometimes I see, oh, that's a guy. Like, he's just a guy.
Yeah.
And like, it's just a weird perspective to see. And it's like, I know people talk about this where it's a psychological, when people are talking about their parents and how there was trauma and people pass trauma down, and it's like he was trying the best he could or he wasn't, but whatever it might be.
Yeah.
But like, you see them as imperfect. But I just know, like, my OCD was bad when I was a kid. We talked about this a little bit on the first time I was on.
Yeah, my OCD is horrible right now.
As in today, or it's always been?
At this period in my life right now. I'll talk to you about it. I'll talk to you about it after this.
Okay. I gave my mom the permission subconsciously that if she said something was okay, it was, because she knows.
Yeah.
I had this Arnold. I was obsessed with Schwarzenegger. I don't know if I'm still obsessed with him, but it's Schwarzenegger. He's the guy, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, obsessed with him. I couldn't spell anything. I knew how to spell Schwarzenegger. SCHWARZENEGGER. Side story, I remember that Jay Leno was doing a on the street with Leno thing, jaywalking, and he said that he'd give $1 million if anybody could spell it. And I'm like, I would love this opportunity. But I had this Terminator 2 book, and there was very little, let's say you dropped keys on a hardcover, like a little mark.
Yeah.
And I didn't know, everything is done. I didn't know what to do about it. But my mom said, no, now it's yours. Now it's like, it's custom. And I remember thinking, like, that's a cheat, but okay. Point is, my mom, so, I mean, this is a long-winded stuff, but just like, when you're a kid, you think of your parents for better or worse, me for better. Yeah. They say, and now my mom will say something like that, and I'm like, no. You know, like, the cats are on the counter when I go home, and the cats are just in everything. I love cats. I'm not grossed out by cats, but I don't need it in my food.
Yeah.
And my mom's picking up the cat. Oh, it's just, and it's like, no, it's not just cat food. And also, I think I've talked about this before, and she's not going to probably listen to this, but my mom will pick up cat shit. She'll just pick up cat. Oh, it's hard. It's fine. Yeah. And it's like, it's not fine. No. Because that's just a woman who's fine with cat shit. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But when you're a kid, anyway.
No, I remember the day I found out my dad was just a man. Because I had my dad on a hardcore pedestal. Like, you know, a lot of my issues in my life are approval from my dad. A lot of my issues parenting now or that my daughters do not seek my approval the way I did my dad's. I explain constantly. I don't have a tattoo because my dad said I couldn't get one. I'm fucking 48
Mhm.
and I still don't want to let him down. Like I don't want to have that conversation with him. I didn't like, I mean, I smoked weed and everything, but like, I was never a big drug guy growing up. I mean, I did drugs like everyone else, but I didn't like drink and drive and break the law. My dad told me not to. And that was like, and then my dad cheated on my mom. And I realized I was so let down in him. And my Uncle Jerry called me, and I was on
His brother.
No,
Mom's brother.
My dad's mother's brother, but they're the same age roughly, randomly.
Mm.
And so my Uncle Jerry called me, and I do the same thing I did with my dad with my Uncle Jerry. My Uncle Jerry is like one of my heroes. And he called me, and I was on the porch. I was on the steps of a girlfriend's house, and I said, yeah, he's not my dad anymore or something. I wrote him off.
How old are you?
I was 21. I just turned 21. And my Uncle Jerry said, don't you ever say that. That's your father. Don't you ever say that. That's your father. And what you're realizing right now is he is just a guy. He's just a guy who had problems in his life, didn't know what to do, and he made a mistake. And he was like, but the way he said that, he's just a guy. I went, oh, this is crazy, but I remember going like, oh, I've cheated on girlfriends. And I did it because I was empty and I didn't want to be with them anymore. And I didn't know how to solve it. And I just did it, and fuck it, it's me. And I was like, oh shit, my dad's not like a hero. He is a regular person who has feelings too. And he's like 46 at the time. And he feels like, what the fuck is this? My kids are all going to college. I'm sitting here with this lady. I got this chick in my, like, I don't know what, like, he's just a regular guy. I remember going like, oh. And then at that time, I could not connect my angst, my teenage angst or grown, my youthful angst. I couldn't connect it with my dad anymore because I was like, I'm just a person. Like he's not this fucking superhero. He's just a dude.
But you still have that. You wouldn't get a tattoo.
Oh no, yeah. To this day, it still fucks with me. My father's approval is like, I mean, just across the board, everything I want. But he also doesn't totally. He loves me, but I make him very uncomfortable. Like
your comedy brand,
just everything about
Really?
me makes him very uncomfortable.
You're not like him.
Not at all. He's like, why don't you wear Brooks Brothers on stage? Why don't you have nice khakis with some loafers? Get a nice button down. Why don't you wear a suit? Jerry Seinfeld wears a suit. What are you doing with your fucking shirt off? And I'm like,
You should do your next special with a suit, but no pants. Because I don't wear pants. I talked about with my girlfriend that for our wedding, I would like to that suit, but with shorts. Just,
yeah, that's a good look.
But make
though.
all the groomsmen wear like 5 layers.
So wait, you don't wear jeans then?
If I have, I'm not like, I would describe my pants wearing the same way as drinking, where I'm not sober, but like, if we're going out and wearing pants, I guess I'll have a drink.
Yeah.
But I don't like, I've never said that before. I like that analogy. I want to remember that. But no, it's uncomfortable. Filming the show, and also I don't know when we're ending, but I do want to hear and you be able to talk about
I don't even know what time it is.
the OCD stuff. But let me tell you this real quick.
Okay.
How are you feeling
fine,
with time?
We're fine. Oh yeah, we're totally fine.
I went in for the fitting, and they're having me wear this stuff. I used to be in good shape. I used to be like...
You're still in good shape, by the way.
Thank you. I don't want to get into the nuance of it, but just like we all have this identity of ourselves,
Yeah.
and we are, I can't wear the stuff I used to wear. My t-shirts don't hug my arms, and my pants can't be buttoned without me being uncomfortable. So
Yeah.
I'm unhappy with it, So when I did the fitting before, I auditioned for the show at 34. It's going to come out at 37.
Wait, what are you talking about?
This TV show. I'm talking about the TV show.
Yeah.
Because we're about to have to go in for the fitting. And I told them before that a character choice, which it is, but I don't like wearing pants. They agreed that the character, because it's close enough to it, they all sweats and big baggy stuff, except for when I'm going to work.
Yeah.
Point I'm making is I'm actually nervous about not being able to perform well while I'm wearing pants because it's been so long. I put a pair on like to try, almost like you're scared of swimming. Like,
Yeah.
I put them on, and I told this story on my podcast, and I get a little insecure when I retell stuff, but the brief of it is, a friend of mine, my buddy John, invited me to go see a show at the Pantages, Phantom of the Opera, and I'm his guest, meaning I felt I need to ask his permission. I have a lot of sweatpants that you can't tell are sweatpants.
Oh, I got a lot of those too.
They're fine.
Yeah.
I'm not in the fucking show, but there's this thing that like, oh, you go into the, you got to wear a flower or whatever. I don't know what this thing is that everybody made up, but I felt out of respect to John, hey, bud, do you mind if I wear he knows, do you mind if I wear the whatever pants? I'll wear a button down. He goes, no, we're going to the theater. I went into my closet and I don't just mean watery eyes. I cried, noises, 5 minutes looking through all of the pants that I can't wear, and I had to put on this pair of pants, and I started crying. That's how much I hate pants.
Yeah.
And anyway,
I have go ahead.
The reason I said the out of shape thing, the new layer that happened that I never felt. I always hated pants. Now they don't fit.
Oh.
So there's that edit thing. And now I'm just like.
There's nothing more depressing than pulling up a pair of jeans, them getting to your butt cheeks and realizing they're not reaching. And you're like, God, what did I do? I have, this is going to sound so fucking crazy, but for a lot of times, I would not go to the store and do stand-up, so I'm genuinely not comfortable with the shirt on stage. It makes me very uncomfortable.
The fit.
I am so free when my shirt's off.
Oh, a shirt.
A shirt.
Period.
A shirt at all. So, and I there would be lineups where I knew that people would be bothered if I took my shirt off.
Does that matter?
Yeah, it did. It does to me. So I would be like, oh,
the comedian would be bothered.
The comedians would be bothered.
Who's following you?
Following me, or they would, or like, there's another guy that, just kind of like, I don't know. It's like, would just take apart me as a person, as a friend, I guess you could say. I mean, I'll tell you who it is off. You can edit a name out. It was like, I don't know. I didn't understand it. They'd take apart my act and be like, and just try to find my act, what they didn't like in my act.
While they're on stage.
I'd go up in the OR after them, and then they just tear apart my act and me, and I'd be like,
I'm sorry, but you go on after them or before them?
Before them. And it was because my shirt was off. It was because my shirt was off, and taking a shirt off on stage, it brings a little bit of a thunderstorm with you at times, and it's a little bit. I don't know. I understand. So I started wearing a shirt in the OR. Like I was like, I'll wear a shirt in the OR because I don't want to. You're always gonna have someone follow you, but maybe it's not fair. I don't know. And if it makes me uncomfortable, maybe then that's what I need to be a better comic. But it would bother me, and I would look at lineups and be like, I just want to call in and say I don't want to fucking go, because for real, having a shirt on stage makes me. I can't imagine wearing a suit. I couldn't fathom having a suit on. I want to so badly transition to flip-flops. You have no idea. I want to go jeans, flip-flops. That's it. But I did it one time in San Diego. And I was so comfortable, I fucked up a joke horrifically.
It's not because you're flip-flops.
You know what? I had a couple times where I stepped on my flip-flops wrong. Like I got told by Bud Freeman directly never to wear flip-flops on the stage. I'm not
an advocate for wearing flip-flops on stage, but also when someone starts wearing high heels, they're going to have some fumbles. You got to get used to it.
Yeah,
I want to know. I didn't realize. So you're fine with a shirt, just the combination of shirt and stage.
Shirt. There's a part of me when I get on stage, I started taking it off as a joke, and then I started realizing I'm very comfortable shirtless. I don't sweat.
But are you uncomfortable with a shirt?
With a shirt, I sweat,
the sweating is the reason it's uncomfortable.
I sweat. I feel uncomfortable. I'm tugging at it.
Have you thought about bringing two huge fans and put in the front of the stage?
By the way, they did that at one place during fucking coronavirus. They put fans blowing on me, and I was like, blow it towards them, please. The fuck? Give them my virus.
Or just turn it off.
Yeah. But yeah, wearing a shirt on stage makes me extremely uncomfortable. I mean, it adds a thought in my head. Number one, I'm sweating. Is my neckline sweat is like,
so people could see it.
But if I'm shirtless, I don't sweat at all. I don't sweat.
Is the sweat bad because people see you sweat?
People see me sweat. I sweat, and I'd rather not sweat than sweat. Like
So sweating itself, you breaking a sweat, you're now distracted.
Yeah, if I'm doing a special, I'm telling you right now, if you look at my Comfortably Dumb special, I break a sweat because I'm in fucking 2 shirts, jeans. I'm just fucking so many clothes. I break a sweat, and you watch it grow on this gray shirt and grow and expand and expand.
Messes up continuity.
You cannot focus on this fucking special.
Do you see that other people see you as a success right now?
No.
You don't see that yet.
I don't see that at all. I haven't really hung out with anybody.
When people say, people drive by, they know you. You have a new beautiful house. You have very successful podcasts. You're doing a movie. Things are cool.
Mm-hmm.
When people were making you feel uncomfortable, did you have that same relative success, or was this a long time ago?
No, I was the same relative success.
How do you feel now about the fact that other people might be uncomfortable if you were shirtless, and would that affect you the same?
Yeah, identical. I haven't changed.
You still will wear a shirt even though you don't want to?
On the OR probably, because even though I don't want to, just out of respect for other comics, and I just don't want to deal with it. If I'm going on in the main room, usually I don't mean this. I don't mean that. I just mean this for real.
You're the draw.
But yeah, I'm one of the 2 people that they bring in. And now that no one's going to be at the store, it'll be. I don't even know who's fucking here still.
How many people made you feel that way?
A handful.
More than 4?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Are they all the same type of guy?
Yeah.
Are you friends with those guys?
Some of them, yeah. Like Rogan was always like he'd always applaud me if I wore a shirt. He never fucked with me, but if I wore a shirt, he'd go, "Oh, showing a little self-restraint today, are we?"
There's 2 things about it. There's hypothetically, I don't have either of these opinions. I don't like that he doesn't wear a shirt because I think it's hacky or whatever other negative judgment I have as a comedian.
I listened to a comic on Joe's podcast talk so much shit about me that when I see him, I'm gonna have to confront him.
He must be in the magic group.
He actually was so dismissive of me and who I am and the fact that I didn't wear a shirt and like yes, everyone can fucking find a way to get famous, huh? And I was like, hey man, I don't dislike you. I'm not mad at you, but I'm gonna have to say something like, you said that to everyone. Right. And it's not like you alluded to who I was. You said my name, and it just was like, and I was like, it kind of hurt my feelings, and I was like, you're the reason, you're kind of the reason that women are speaking up, or like that little bullshit right there. Like, I'm a fucking man, and I'm also 240 pounds, and I lift weights, and I run fucking, like, I'm a man, and you're talking shit to me knowing there could be consequence. Clearly you talk shit about someone who you knew there would be no consequence with.
So there's a judgment from him, but there's
strict. Well, I think actually in this person's case, I think this person maybe is more a reflection of the lack of maybe achievements that he's had, and he looks at me and he goes, well, "This is fucking bullshit."
Of course,
well, this guy takes his shirt off and he's a drunk, and that's the way he looks at it, as opposed to going.
Yeah, you find it's resentment. You're finding things to be mad at.
I'm certain of it.
But that's a different category than, listen, I don't care if Bert goes on stage naked. Who gives a shit? But if I have to follow that, that's going to make me uncomfortable. That's the other. And
yeah.
There's a
that's
cross.
valid.
This one, neither of them are valid.
Oh.
It's valid if you're the host.
Yeah.
It's not valid if you're one of 8,000 comedians in the OR one night.
Who is known for performing shirtless.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about this on the last podcast. I only say that in case people saw, and you got to say that. That's my thing. But there's a fine line between being self-aware and respectful of others and understanding other people's boundaries versus people encroaching onto your side of the street, right? And I have experienced this forever as a comedian of people making fun and judging and the things I'm doing and I shouldn't be doing, or blah 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 blah. And I think to my detriment, I always thought, fuck them.
Yeah.
But then I started coming to more awareness and be like, no, you still have to consider these variables and then choose them, right?
Yeah.
And I think I would have learned more sooner if I kind of understood, I think I'm doing something just to do it and not for a pure enough intention. This is so important to me, and I fear I'm not going to be articulating it right, but in the most most basic terms, I have put so much time and energy into thinking about this stuff and making sure that, we all have our boundaries and making sure I keep my side of the street clean.
Yeah.
There is no world and no situation where anybody could ever tell me what I'm allowed to do on stage or in my personal relationships that they're not sitting next to me on, where they have any merit.
I agree. I would never. My defense in my own feelings were, I can't imagine if the response someone would give me if I walked up to them in the back of the main room in the back thing and I was like, "Hey, button your shirt one before you go on for me."
Imagine
it.
And we know that.
Yeah.
But there's still a part of you that when someone says that, you're not going to wear the shirt.
Yeah. That I go, I don't want to deal. It's my problem with confrontation also. I don't want to deal with I don't want to deal with me getting angry and then wanting to say something. And then when I say something, everyone going, "Whoa, what's this side of Bert we've never seen?" Like I try to keep it nice and tight.
What's wrong with the other side of Bert that they've never seen?
That no one likes it. It's like when I get upset, I get upset. I get upset like a fucking regular person.
There's this movement, which I think is positive, but it's a bit antiquated in my opinion, of like hot girls, these picture, this is not what women really look like. Look at all these things are doctored and blah, 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 which is true. And then there's this movement, which I like, which is these beautiful girls are showing like themselves in poses where they're like, kind of like what we felt about our parents. Oh, you're a human.
Yeah.
This is what you look like. But there's this part of me that's like, yeah, I know. How stupid well, of course that's not what people really look like. You have one color on your face.
Yeah.
My point is when people post stuff on social media, they're posting stuff because they want people to think this is who they are. And I think social media is very transparent. And I have, through podcasting, is this too much?
No, dude, you're never too much.
Okay, well then I guess we could just cut it here because you've been lying to me the entire time. But I got into podcasting more once I started podcasting. Coincidentally, I started watching Armchair Expert. That was the first podcast I started listening to constantly. Dax's. Loved it. Then I got into podcasts. And now I'm podcasting. And
can you listen to a lot of Armchair Expert?
I haven't in a little bit, but I've stopped listening to podcasts for a while.
Can I ask you a question? Do you think it's him and his co-host, the female co-host, they don't say didn't. They say didn't. They don't pronounce the D.
That's why I stopped listening.
I couldn't. I listened to the one he did about relapsing. It's fucking riveting content for the record.
He's amazing.
Very honest, very open. He seems like a solid dude. I'm sure I've said something colorful about him in the past. I'm certain I have because I've fucking talked way too much. But they say didn't. They didn't do it. They don't do didn't.
Apparently you say nightmare instead of nightmare, which I found out because I said it and everyone was tweeting at me saying...
Oh, some guy called me out and he goes, "You're taking someone's bit." I was like, "Excuse me?"
For saying nightmare?
Nightmare and 100%. This guy literally, I was in the comments. I was up all night reading. The guy like fucking falling apart going, why would I? And then I started hearing how many people say 100%. Like it's in commercials.
As opposed to what?
Like just, I say it a lot. Like we go, "Do you want a drink tonight?" And I'm like, 100%. Like I say it a lot. And I say nightmare. I didn't realize Greg Fitzsimmons says nightmare. Or maybe Mike Gibbons. Greg Fitzsimmons.
Also, how is that a bit? What a simple premise.
Yeah.
And so a guy walks into a bar, had a nightmare.
Yeah.
Okay. What's the joke?
I was like, "You stole someone's bit." And I was like, "What's his bit?" And he goes, "No, he says nightmare and 100% also." And I'm like, "Yeah, I think a lot of people do." I mean, nightmare's a weird one. I say, like if you get...
You say muscles.
No, when you get, when they rub your body, I call it massage.
Massage.
But that, I think that was just...
I think it's technically called a massage when the person giving or receiving doesn't want it. It's non-consensual. So it's short for misogyny.
Oh, okay. That makes sense. Yeah. You know what? When you talk about, I'm trying to go on this thing and this is not the right month to do it. I'm trying to talk less and listen more. I've talked way too much. I overshare, and I don't think about things before I talk. I just talk. Mm-hmm. So I don't put a lot of thought into it. I was talking to a friend yesterday about, they were like, "You need to feed your brain a little bit every now and then." So I've been reading these history books. But then all of a sudden, all my fucking information is just coming out like a 87-year-old man's opinion.
That's why you got to get into magic. But go on.
But I think the biggest problem with social media, one of the biggest problems with social media is that I feel like everyone's got to have content. Everyone's got to have a hot take. Everyone's got to have a message. Everyone's got like, so when I get bummed out, I don't have anything lately without shows to promote. I don't have anything to shoot. So I don't have anything to post. And so I feel like a lack. I love coming up with a promo. It's my favorite thing.
You graded it.
I love it. And so without any shows to do, I have no reason to shoot anything because I have nothing to promote. So I've been feeling a hole.
But you do a podcast all the time.
I do a podcast all the time, but I've noticed that I just voice texted all of that.
To somebody?
To me. Oh, my wife and I were on a group chat with someone, and I saved it because I thought, this is too good. I hit voice text. I didn't realize I did it. And my wife said, can I tell you the problem with him? And told her all of it. And it was in the thing.
With the person who's there?
But
you didn't send?
And I, as an instinct, you know, when you see like a message you haven't sent, I was texting them. So I said, hey, text Rick, it's Bert, we're on our way. And then my wife goes, can I just tell you, I didn't hit end.
Yeah.
And so I looked and I realized I hadn't sent it, and I went to hit send, and I was like, wait, that's longer than what I was sending. I almost sent them a written text of what my wife felt was wrong with them. I
was having some problem. I've moved into a new place.
Oh, really?
No. Just kidding. Yeah. Whenever somebody says that to me, like, I'm hungry. Are you? It's like, no. What do you just let me tell you?
But you were right next door to me.
I'm still near here.
Okay.
But I hated the place. The people above me were the worst people.
Yeah.
And it was the son of the owner of the building. They did construction for almost a year. It was horrible.
Wait, guys, can I just steal a moment?
Yeah.
So we had a neighbor, an upstairs neighbor who lived in New York. And all my friends from college came up. Every night we'd hear, it was almost like someone was rolling dice, right? But imagine if they were with a hammer, like you hear
rolling hammers.
Gush, gush, gush. Gush, 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 gush. So we don't know what the fuck this person is. We don't even know who this person is. So one day my roommates from college come up to stay with me, and we go up to the roof to go smoke a joint. And as we pass by this place, I go, this is so crazy. Whoever lives in here every night, and their door's wide open. And I'm like, I'm dying to see. And a girl pops out. She's a Jewish person who's not allowed to use their hands on Sunday. No, what's that called? It's the same one.
Orthodox? They can't use their hands?
They can't like turn on lights and stuff.
Orthodox.
Is it Orthodox?
Yeah. There's no working.
Yeah, no working.
Yeah,
but she can't use her hands. Like she can't like turn on lights and
I know they can't use elevators. I don't know the
I could be off on this. It's whatever the dude what John Goodman was in well, that was he couldn't bowl on Shabbos, but I think it's a little bit more than that. Yeah, but it's more than that. You can't do anything.
Yeah, Orthodox.
So this is going to sound like a make-believe story. And by the way, my recollection could be off on some of these facts. But she sees us going up. And by the way, she is like not in like the garb. She just looks regular.
Street Jew.
Yeah, yeah. And she goes, hey, neighbor. And I went, hey. I'm not looking at her place. She goes, what are you guys doing? I said, we're going up to the roof to smoke a joint. I said, my name's Bert. She says her name. She goes, I'd love to get high. Can I come with you guys? We're like, yeah, of course. So we go up.
But she can't hold the joint.
She can't hold the joint. She can't hold the pipe. So my buddy Hutch put the pipe into her mouth and lit it, and she inhaled it. That she could do. So we're high as fuck. We're on our roof. And I said, it's so funny. I hear you every night. It's not annoying, but I'm curious. It sounds like you're rolling dice and hammering. And she goes, oh, I've been remodeling my apartment. And we're like, oh, for real? And she goes, yeah, I'm remodeling my apartment. And I was like, oh, because is it the same as mine? She goes, I think they're all the same, but mine now looks totally different. So I go, oh, I'd love to see it. So we go down, her door's still open. We walk into her, and she had removed all the walls. All the structure was gone. She had taken all the wood out. And I'm like, this is dangerous as fuck. She was doing it like
she got rid of like the supporting.
She got rid of everything. It Shawshank Redemption. She just did it with a hammer, very slowly, tore apart the place. And my buddy Hutch goes, we were just standing on this roof. She was on the top floor. He goes, we could have fallen through. There's no support beams in here. But I never forget that we had to light the, like, her logic was so off on everything. We had to light the weed for her, and she inhaled it. And then she was down, and I remember I ended up living there for another year, right below her. Oh.
Yeah, the logic is funny.
My buddy Hutch had never met the idea, like, you know.
That's his idea of what Jewish people are now?
No, yeah, probably. He was like, he'd never met someone who couldn't, you know, turn on lights and stuff. And it was very popular. My wife ran an apartment building, and you'd have those guys all in there. It was in Hollywood. So you very commonly, hey, can you come in and turn on our oven or something? Здравствуйте, меня зовут Bert. Очень приятно. Я работаю кошка. Do you know what I just said? Well, if you'd like to learn what I just said, you can learn it from Babbel, the #1 selling language learning app, period. One of my goals for the new year was to brush up on my Russian. I do speak Russian and Spanish. I want to learn French. I want to take the girls to Paris. I would love to learn French. And I can learn it with Babbel. Babbel's 15-minute lessons make it the perfect way to learn a new language on the go. Take Babbel into the car with you while you're waiting for an appointment, sitting in the drive-thru at fucking, what was the place we just sat in the drive-thru forever, and I was like, I could learn a new language in and out. Babbel, unlike infamous language classes you took in high school, designed their courses with practical, real-world conversations in mind, things that you get used to saying in everyday life. Other language learning apps like use AI for their lesson plans, but Babbel's lessons were created with over 100 language experts. Their teaching methods have been scientifically proven to be effective. With Babbel, you can choose from 14 different languages, including French, Spanish, Italian, and German. Plus, Babbel's speech recognition technology helps you improve your pronunciation and your accent. Start your new language learning today with Babbel. Right now, with your purchase of a 3-month Babbel subscription, you'll get an additional 3 months for free. That's 6 months for the price of 3. Just go to Babbel.com and use the promo code BERT. That's Babbel, BABBEL.com. And the code's BERT for an extra 3 free months. Babbel. Language para vida. Por la loca. For life. Language for life. Are you a gig worker or self-employed like myself? It's been a very crazy year. And this year, if you know, it being self-employed has forced you to be extremely creative and flexible. Womply has helped over 100,000 small businesses get a PPP stimulus loan. Up to 41.1 million self-employed workers may qualify for up to $41,666 in 100% forgivable loans. Funds are limited, so apply for free today at womply.com/Bertcast and see if you qualify for a PPP loan. Womply.com/Bertcast. Get that money.
This is too long of a story. I'm going to try and do a short version of it, and I'm not sure if it's going to pay off. I don't remember the beats.
Okay.
But basically, I got kicked out of this basketball game.
I remember this.
That was with Bill Lawrence.
Can I tell you, it makes me like Bill Lawrence so much, and it made me love you.
Really?
Because your introspection, and this is from the last podcast, your introspection, I'll tighten that up for you. Rick is a great basketball player, but he only knows how to play one speed. By the way, I'm the same way with sports, and so I phone it in if I'm playing with friends, but if I'm playing with strangers, we're fucking going at it, right?
It's your identity.
Yeah,
you need
it's
people
like,
to know.
Why would I not want to win?
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand that.
I don't want to sit the next game.
Yeah, I played a girl in tennis that I was dating, and she was like, oh, let's play tennis. I was like, cool, and I fucking beat her 6-0. She was like, you're not letting me win any. I was like, you're not good. She was like, no, you should let me win. I go, no, you got to earn a win. That's how that, why would I...
There's some nuance to that, but I'm on board.
I'm not the best with this. Anyway, and Bill Lawrence, whose game it was like, hey, I love this about this guy. Never even met this guy. I probably never will. But he said, I'm going to have to uninvite you to the game. You're making some of the guys uncomfortable because you're playing so intensely. and you were like, I didn't know I was doing that.
I also wanted to say it was more than that. It was not the whole thing was basically some of the guys that have been in this game for 20 years feel this way. I understand why they feel this way. I want you to now understand why they feel this way, but it's my game. I'm not kicking you out. Just going to leave for a little bit, and it's your choice if you want to come. It was just so
handled
direct.
so well.
It was exactly how people need to confront people.
Yeah. Yeah. And so you were saying, keep going.
So I'm kicked out of this game, right, for being too good at basketball. And a few time goes by, and now I'm coming back. Now, also, a lot of guys in this game, most of the guys in this game just, Rick hasn't been here. They don't know what's going on because Bill isn't broadcasting it. It's just the few guys that felt this way. And so now I'm coming back. Rick, where have you been? And like, some of the guys don't want me to be here. Like, I wasn't like embarrassed of it. I wanted people to know. They're like, really? I want
Yeah. Raise your hands, motherfuckers.
But so point is, I'm new, and I've been in this before. I mean, I had to go to a special school in 9th grade called PEP, Positive Education Program, for like troubled people. And then you come back to school, and you come back like at half days. I remember incidentally, I just talked about this for the first time on a podcast, but I was in this special school, 9th grade, but I thought if I'm really good, some people usually when they go to the school, they stay at that school. But if you're really good, you get to like come back slowly for half days first.
Yeah.
And I thought I might be able to get back by 9th grade, and I want to be in the yearbook. I don't want people to think, why wasn't I in the yearbook? I don't want to highlight any of this. So my mom convinced the school to let me come and take pictures. In case I'm in it, they'll put me in the yearbook. And I practiced in the mirror for minutes. Like my smile. And to this day, I still went, it's one of my twitches. Sometimes I do this. It was started from there. But I go to this, anyway, I remember going back, and when people were like, where were you? I was embarrassed.
Yeah.
This felt like that same thing, but now I feel like the other way. Anyway, so now I'm like, Rick's back, baby, but you gotta be good. And I show up, and there are 10 people. There's usually 50, up to 15.
Yeah.
There are 10 guys. Minimum, you need 10 guys. We play at this place at this Jewish rec center. And upstairs, there is this, the best way I could explain it, a bunch of Jews doing their thing. And it's a Friday or whatever it was, they need to say a prayer, but you need to have 10 guys. And they need 10 guys down here. And they're walking, and I see it, people are walking in. There's guys on the street like recruiting, like trying to get, what's it called when you try to get ticket sales? If there's a word, like
scalping.
No, like barking.
Barking, yeah.
Yeah, they're barking for people to come up, but you need to be Jewish. Are you Jewish? You Jewish? You Jewish? Yeah. They ask me, "Are you Jewish?" And I'm like, "I'm into this conversation now because I don't know where we're going."
Yeah.
I go, "Yeah, are you?" He's dressed in the whole thing. He goes, "I am." I'm like, "I love it, man." I'm finally welcome back to the game. We got a couple of Jews. What's going on? And he basically says, "We need a 10th," not so many words. So now I'm down with the guys that. Some of them kicked me out, but I want to be there. Stretching, we're about to start the game, and I tell these guys, see if you could find somebody else, because I'm trying to make a good impression. I don't want to be late to school.
Yeah.
Ultimately, they couldn't, so now I'm back, but all these guys have to wait for me to go upstairs in my ankle brace. They're all in their Jewish suits and stuff.
God damn it. Andrew, I think this hit me in the head.
They're wearing like the yarmulkes, and they're all dressed up, and I'm in basketball shorts stretching. I don't remember how to read Hebrew.
Yeah.
But now I'm upstairs with these Jewish people and everyone's, finally Rick's back, but he's up there hanging with the Jews. So it just made me think of, if these people don't know what Jewish people are, and just assuming, we can't invite them to play ball.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's my story.
My buddy Hutch is a very, very, like one of the most awesome dudes. Like one of the most awesome dudes you'll ever meet. My recollection of things is often skewed towards comedy. So like my remembering anything, I always remember what made me giggle about it. Mm-hmm. And then I highlight that, and I kind of lose the details.
I understand.
In between. But one of my favorite Hutch stories ever, and by the way, there's a million, right? Is I go to New York, and I start doing stand-up, and I come back for a Florida State football game. And we go back to the house we used to live in. Now I think Hutch is renting it to some friends, but we know those guys. So we go to party in the house that we left college in. And one morning, Hutch and I are down underneath the stairs. We're hungover. And Hutch was a major, and I hope this sounds kind, because I don't want it to be unkind, but I made jokes about Hutch, but Hutch was not a complex dude. Mm-hmm. He needed the things he needed in life, and his simplicity was almost brilliant.
You know, his name's Hutch.
Yeah. And by the way, he lives up to every bit of what you think a Hutch would be. I remember him telling me one time, by the way, remember that my memory, because if Hutch hears this and he's like, that's not what happened at all. Just remember my memory is a little skewed.
You could do a tag at the end of him kind of like correcting everything.
Yeah. He said, I had a son. And I was like, really? And he's like, yeah, I named him Isaiah or Isaac or whatever. And I said, really? He said, yeah, I thought because you're a comedian, you'd love that. And I was like, why? And he goes, well, Joseph brought his only son, Isaac, up to the mountaintop, and God had him almost kill him, but he didn't at the last minute. And I went, and he goes, well, you'd have to have a pretty good sense of humor if your dad almost killed you, and then he didn't, right, Bert? And that's the way Hutch's brain works. So he's an amazing salesman, and he sold books all across the country for summer, and he'd make $75,000 in a summer selling books, and then that would pay for his whole college, and he'd have a bank. The guy always had money selling books. He could sell anything, so much so that they turned him into a motivational speaker. But he wasn't the best at motivational speeches. They would come out like a little skewed from like a high perspective, right? Uh-huh. So I just come back from New York. I'm getting into stand up. I'm having a rough time. We're under these stairs. We're hungover. It's Saturday morning. It's early, and we're just kind of like sitting in the grass under these stairs. And Hutch goes, B-Man, how's New York going? I said, good. And he goes, you think you're gonna make it? And I go, I don't know, Hutch. It's not. I mean, it's a little different than what I thought it would be. He goes, let me explain something to you. And he gives me a motivational speech. If you say
like an encyclopedia.
Yeah. He goes, if you commit 100%.
If you could what?
If you commit 100% to your goal of making it in stand-up comedy, then you've already achieved your goal. I said, what? And he goes, you've achieved your goal. If you say, I will not stop until then, once you commit to that, then you've achieved your goal. I said, I don't follow. And he goes, put a goal, a very simple goal. Give me a goal you'd like to achieve today. I go, I'd like to get high, Hutch. And he goes, do you promise not to stop or quit until you get high? And I said, I promise. I will make sure I get high today. He goes, then you've achieved that goal. I said, I'm not high. And he pulls a joint out of his top pocket and he goes, you will be in a second. And he was just the greatest guy. I wish I had better stories. The one I always tell about is I told it my act is we were playing frisbee golf and my frisbee got stuck in a tree and I was throwing a stick at it and he comes over and he goes, hey man, if I were you, I'd be real careful throwing that stick up in the air. I said, why? And he goes, well, you know how when you look up your mouth automatically opens? And I was like, no. And he goes, it does, try it. And I look up, I'm like, oh shit, it does open. And he goes, yeah, stick's liable to go right down your throat. And I was like, what? And he goes, happened to me twice. And then he said, and then no one would ever believe this. And I am not skewing this at all. I swear to God, he goes, it also happened with a bike flag. He goes, do you remember when you were a kid and you'd throw stuff in the air in your front yard and watch it stick in the ground? And I went, no. And he goes, well, I did it a lot. One day I throw a bike flag up in the air and as it comes down, someone goes, hey, Hutch. And he looks and then he looks up to see where this thing is. And then when he goes, I was running around with a bike flag in my throat. He's one of the fucking, oh, fuck.
Is he still around?
Yeah.
You refer to your parents in Hutch in past tense.
I refer to everyone in past tense, I think.
Start referring to them future tense, and then your dreams will come true.
Yeah, yeah.
Hutch is going to be awesome. Like, how exciting to see him again, you know?
He is such a joy to run into.
Have you ever had him on the podcast?
No.
Why not?
This isn't him. He's funny as shit. And by the way, the funniest part of Hutch was being friends, everyone being friends with Hutch and his quirks. He had a thing called the A-list. Hang on. It was the A-list, I think. I'm going to call Blair. Blair was so Hutch would go Hutch had a lot of money. Nice. So he would go shopping for the house. And so he'd go, and then you get a bill of what he bought. And it was, and
what do you mean shopping for the house? Oh, you guys live together.
So he would buy stuff for himself. We all live together. And then he buys stuff for the house, like mayonnaise. That's for the house. That goes, I want to say it's on the A-list. I'm going to call Blair, and Blair will remember. He would go, A-list. And you'd be like, oh, cool. And you're like, yeah, we definitely needed mayonnaise. And then you'd like, kickball. And he's like, A-list. I was like, what? He's like, I got everyone kickballs. They're on your bed. And you're like, I didn't want a kickball.
Oh, so everyone has to pay for it?
Everyone had to pay for kickballs because Hutch would be like, so then one day he'll call me back if so then one day he bought us all kickballs and put them on the A-list. And you go to your room and there's a kickball on your bed with some toothpaste, A-list, like just things that he thought you needed. And we mocked this kickball forever. And he goes, and then one day we're in the front yard, we're high, and we're kicking our kickballs as high in the air as we can and seeing who can kick them higher, like up above the trees. And Hutch just comes up and he goes, kickball wasn't a bad idea to put on the A-list. Hey, Mango.
Hey, man, did I miss a call for you?
Yeah. I'm doing a podcast and I'm trying to tell stories about Hutch. Did Hutch, what was it called when he bought something for all of us? Was it the A-list?
Yeah, the A-list, yes, 100%.
He just said 100%. I'm trying to explain how Hutch would buy something like kickballs and put it on the A-list, and then you'd be like, I didn't ask for a kickball.
Or Kool-Aid that he only liked the flavor of.
You only like the what?
Kool-Aid that only he
I hadn't drank Kool-Aid since I was 9 anyway.
Hutch is the fucking greatest. Oh, all right. It is the greatest. He's not dead. All right.
No.
Will be the greatest.
All
Yeah.
right,
All right, I'll talk to you later, buddy.
Bye.
Bye. So that's my wife. But yeah, he would buy Kool-Aid, but only he liked that flavor of Kool-Aid. He's like, A-list, we all like fucking ectoplasm. And you're like, no one likes that, Hutch. Ugh.
The reason I also want to say, just so we don't have the loose end on the apartment, the landlord, I was talking to him about stuff. There was a lot of problems, doesn't matter. And we were messaging back and forth, and this was December. The heat went out. He got me a floor heater, but I have rugs, and it says you can't, don't leave it on overnight, and don't leave it when you leave the house. And it's like, I'm not going to sleep with this thing on. This scares me. I'm bringing my own microphones. I'm not wearing that, having that thing by my rugs.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, all from Marshall Rug Gallery. We'll be right back after word from our sponsors. If you're looking for just the right flooring, you need choices. And at Marshall Carpet One, you'll find thousands of choices, including carpet, hardwood, rugs, and luxury vinyl. So make the right choice and visit Marshall Carpet One and Rug Gallery. And we promise, with more than 50 years as a family-owned business, we've got you covered! And we're back. Perfect. Let me know if you need some. But while we're going through this, the people couldn't fix the heat for a few weeks. I found a place to do it, but it's not the people they use. So fuck you guys.
Yeah.
The landlord had a conversation with his partner and didn't realize that he was a voice record. And it was voice,
Yeah.
3 minutes of stuff. He sent it to me. I saw 3 minutes. I listened for a few seconds and I'm like, whoa, I'm not supposed to hear this. So I stopped, not saying I'm not going to listen, just like, what are we doing here? What's the right thing to do, Rick?
Yeah.
Not even a minute later, he messages back, hey, I sent that by accident. If you're going to listen, I would prefer if you listen when you're with me so I could explain a couple of things. And I empathized. I don't like this guy.
I empathize, and I love that you empathized.
And I said to him, I understand. I can imagine what it would be like to send something by accident. Don't worry. I made point to say planning. I'm not planning on listening to it. And I didn't. However, I did record it. I did press play and do a screen record, and I literally left the room. So I wouldn't hear it, but in case I lose it, I don't know, leverage, this guy sucks all the time. So I recorded it, and I didn't listen to it. And you would have thought he was trying to be a guest on the podcast, the way he was treating me and talking to me and helping, and just like he's my best friend. And I was thinking, like, great. Maybe he said some anti-Semitic shit or whatever, and now I can live here. And then time passed, he sucked again, and then I gave it a listen, and he was just horrible on it. And I still have that footage, and I don't know what I'm allowed to talk about, but there were some problems with that place. And I think I'm taking some action. And,
for real?
Yeah, and I have lots of documentation of stuff. The people above me, man, they used to throw stuff over onto off their balcony, would get on my balcony, spilled coffee. I have so many recordings of the stuff they were saying. Words I'm not allowed to say that the wife is calling the husband and vice versa. Anyway, but I have that recording and made me think of that.
It's interesting how you don't realize your behavior affects people that live below you or above you, but everything anyone above you or below you does is on a microscope, where you go like I remember that woman. She was
More
like,
so above. We
above,
could hear
yeah.
above more than below.
the people that lived below us in that same apartment in New York. I lived with two girls, and they
Nice.
used to. This is when this is when clogged
Just
shoes.
that you had a place.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Oh yeah. This is when clogged shoes were like big, like girls with big chunky heels, like boots, and our neighbor came up one time. I love when people like. That's what I like about that Bill Lawrence guy. I like when people handle things properly because I don't. I usually don't say anything and then I explode. I don't
Right.
say anything, don't say anything, don't say anything, and then I pop, and then you're like, "What the fuck? Where did that come from?" He came up and he was like, I know you guys probably aren't aware, but when you wear shoes in your apartment, it's really loud downstairs." And we're like, "For real?" And he was like, "It's really loud." And you guys wear shoes all the time in your apartment. Do you guys mind taking your shoes off at the door, leaving them at the door, and then walking around barefoot in your apartment?
So are you saying they asked you to take your shoes off? Podcast?
Yeah.
Okay.
And the girls did it. And I remember the first night they didn't. Like I remember the first time they came in and they were just stomping around. And I remember my roommate Monica jumped in her shoes from the couch onto the floor, like jumped like fun, crazy, we're partying. And I was like, oh, I can see how that would wake somebody up. Oh, that guy made total sense.
The people have hardwood floors in the place above me, and they would be wearing shoes all the time. And I know, before this, my friends, John and Allison, lived there. So I know what it is. And listen, they have to live their life, but we've had conversations and how it could be manageable and respectful.
Yeah.
They have to not walk on eggshells, but I want to live here, and we're in a pandemic. Like, I'm home all the time. Not only did I don't even say confront them, I approached them in a way where, hey guys, welcome to the neighborhood. You know, I don't know much, but I have my 3 favorite restaurants. You know, just a little thing like, here's what I like. Also, I happen for work, I record 2 to 4 hours a week in my apartment. I know you guys are doing construction. If you wouldn't mind, I could give you at least a day's notice. If you could keep like some of the banging down. They didn't. Or sometimes by accident, but they never met those things. Then I said, if you could just at least not have the shoes. My father owns an area rug store. I would love to send you rugs. And I sent them manufacturer. I don't remember if I sent them or I told them the manufacturers, but not like used rugs. Like, here are some manufacturers of nice rugs. We will drop ship them to you free of charge. Never once acknowledged it, said no thank you, thanks anyway. Anyway.
Yeah.
So like, it's easy to become resentful, but once you approach somebody and be like, hey, do you mind doing this? And then that person doesn't do it, then it's like, oof,
I'm so bad. I'm so bad at the reaching out to people. And I think that's why I'm trying to be a little more cognizant of what I say on podcasts about people. Good idea. For the very beginning of my career on podcasts, I would just torch relationships. I mean, just say things that were very honest. But and at times things I had said to the person that the person didn't listen, and then all of a sudden you just are like, you're like, I'll say it again. Fuck it.
There's a fine line, and I have a hard time understanding it. And I'll sometimes not say stuff that would have been fine. But like, when is it somebody else's business? Like, if I tell this story about this person, right?
Okay.
It's their business.
That's a great.
But also, sometimes it's also my business. A perfect example is girlfriends or ex-girlfriends, more particularly, because there are stories that I've talked about where I didn't at least say the name of the ex-girlfriend.
And my problem is I tell stories for a living, and so a good story I like to share. I remember telling him I got high with Sebastian Bach, and he went, "Well, don't do that. Why are you telling everyone you got high with Sebastian Bach?"
Unless Sebastian's okay with it.
Yeah, and in my head I'm like, He lit the joint. He's got to be cool with it.
Yeah, man, but it's not your business.
Yeah, and I didn't realize that. I'm telling, and it's a good story, by the way. The story is
it?
amazing. Oh, it's a really good story. It's a great story.
But I've assumed since you've talked to Sebastian and asked if you could tell it.
Never talked to Sebastian.
Well, you're doing it now.
I'm doing it now. By the way, I think Sebastian Bach would be comfortable with saying he's
Right.
a known stoner. So, and it was just a
Also,
great,
weed isn't a thing anymore.
yeah, right? And it's not like we shared a woman, like then you're like, all right, that's not cool. But it's interesting because I have disclosed.
Excuse me. I don't have headphones on, but I have to imagine you guys heard that.
What was it?
I mean, I don't even want to call it a fart. That's disrespectful. I mean, I just blew up this seat.
But it's funny what I share. I've overshared. I made a living oversharing, I think. I mean, my special was called Secret Time.
Mm-hmm.
And so it wasn't until recently where I was like, I don't have to have a hot take on everything. But it seems like you got to be prepared for everything. Like, now here's a question. Something like the Carlos Mencia stuff,
Mm-hmm.
right? That people go, oh, it should be kept in-house. It goes out. I think that's good for comedy.
I don't
It's
have
bad for Carlos.
I don't have an opinion. I mean, I could make one up, but it's just about like the only way. This isn't like this big moral golden rule thing. There is something that me going to a special school, people talking shit, you know, making up stories. But are we okay?
I think so. Yeah. I'm almost certain.
I just know what it's like.
You let me know if Peter shows up, if he's standing behind me for an hour.
I know what it's like for people to tell my story and fill in the blanks. And the filling in the blanks is the biggest part. Because if there are facts that are out there, then I'm not the one telling them. But when you are creating a context, and as little or as big as a podcast may be, there is at least some subconscious influence when somebody looks up to you or they appreciate other takes you have where they think what you say is valid. For you to create a narrative that isn't yours to tell, I wouldn't. Here's the thing, where you say you don't like confrontation. I don't seek it, but if there is somebody, if it's your business and you're here with me, you have every ability to say, I don't want to talk about this, or defend yourself, or I have no problem having that. It's when that person isn't there with us. It's not our, we don't know. Anyway, I
told a story on Two Bears, One Cave. There's a very innocuous story, and it's funny. You don't think, and you think everything's fine. You tell the story. There's a story about these black guys getting on stage and showing their dicks in Miami, and it's a fucking great story. And then this hairless albino gets on stage, shows his dicks. True story. I dropped them. I go, that's my show. Drop the mic. Fucking standing ovation. I'd only done 35 minutes. Right? It's a fucking great story. In the story, I said, and I'm telling it to Tom, and I'm saying, oh, this was Miami Improv is a crazy place. One time they have these 3 gangbangers in the front row, and they're fucking rough. I mean, and I say Lisa Creo, that's her name. She was the person. She comes off stage, she was crying. And then Lisa, and by the way, I'm also adding details that probably aren't in it right now. And I don't know why, but that's how I tell a story, is I add the details to make sure you're interested or whatever. Lisa texted me and goes, hey man, just so you know, like, I didn't cry. And I was like, huh? She's like, I wasn't crying. Like, and then I realized, oh, that's super important. Like, I made it look like she was just this like frail, as opposed to a seasoned comic who went on stage, had a rough set, came off as like, fuck that crowd.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I made it sound like she was this like fainting, hanky pulling, and she wasn't. But in me telling the story, just to tell it, I go, she came off crying.
That's why if you're going to, my opinion, if you're going to tell those stories, you can't reveal who the person is.
Yeah.
Or
it always made it so much better.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, but you know, and then when you talk about defending people, this is an interesting one too, is Ari's recollection of after the Kobe shit went down, Ari's recollection of how we interacted is very different than what really happened. Because I think he was in a whirlwind of craziness and chaos. I reached out to him the day after, and then it stayed quiet for a little bit, but have since, you know, I didn't defend him the way he wanted me to. And I remember thinking, it sounds really selfish, but I was like, no one's out there defending you. I don't want to be the one guy standing on the hill going, it was a joke, you know? But
did you think did you feel that way? Did you feel did you feel people were overreacting and it was a joke?
I understood that everything he had always tweeted about people dying, I understood that was his bit and that was a joke. And the more horrible, the more fucking horrible, the more I think all of us would go like, oh fuck, he went hard today, right? And then he explained to me, he said, you know, I was really hurt that you didn't defend me. And I was like, and I was like, yeah, I was a weird guy to ask because you had drugged me a month before. So like, I was in a weird place. Like, because if I defend you, then if I forgave you for that, and then I was like, I'm just in a weird place, and I didn't want everyone coming after me because I'm the one guy going, guys, no one said it. No one said it's a joke at the time. Later, like a month later, everyone was like, you know, that's what Ari does. Ari always does that. But at the time, no one was like on Twitter going, except for Mark Normand defended Ari. But Ari said to me, he was like, you know, jokes are sometimes the most horrible thing you can say. That's the joke. And it doesn't matter if you're not funny. You got to defend someone trying to tell a joke. He was like, I was trying to tell a joke, but I didn't defend him. And I always felt bad that you can't go back in time.
Yeah, well, the bigger picture is both the people who maybe did something that was a turnoff and the people that did or didn't respond the way they should have. We're just guys.
Yeah.
And we're imperfect and shit happens and we learn from it. And I want to remove this conversation from the Ari part of it because I don't know him that well. And
Yeah.
respectfully, I don't care about that. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, I don't think about it.
Yeah.
But that as a microcosm, this idea of distasteful jokes, we could come on here and I know we're filming, especially if this were live and nothing would be edited out for sure. I could punch you in the stomach and say, you just got punched. And that's my bit. And that's my joke.
Yeah.
Funny or not, that's my joke. It doesn't, I punched you.
Yeah.
I hurt you. So, Chappelle is a big advocate for us being able to say whatever we want and have a voice. I agree with that.
Yeah.
But if somebody is doing something for a certain reaction, why would they be surprised if they actually consciously, the math of this joke is for this reaction? Why are you surprised when you get it?
That's interesting. Yeah, I don't know if Ari was surprised. And
I want to make it clear that it's not specifically about that because I don't know enough of the variables.
No,
about
but the intent was to troll people who cared, and then in his head prove that they didn't really care.
I care. I care when that happened.
Yeah.
I remember I did a show, I think that night, if not the next night, I couldn't talk about anything but it. I cared.
Yeah.
I'm not having him over for lunch too often, but I cared.
Who, Kobe or Ari?
Kobe.
Okay.
I'm saying, like, when that happened, that really affected me.
Yeah.
And we don't need to go into it now because we've been going long enough, but it did. I was actually a bit surprised at how much it affected me. It's reminding me of, on my wall, I had Arnold Schwarzenegger, Van Damme, Jenny McCarthy, Jordan, and Kobe, depending on when it was. Like, I had 5 people on my wall. Since I was a kid, he was one of them.
Yeah.
This thing happened. I remember seeing that, and I keep saying, I don't want to talk too much about it. I wasn't taken aback. I wasn't angry at him, but I didn't like it.
Yeah.
So, if you're trolling people, why are you surprised when people are trolled? I don't mean that sarcastically.
No, yeah.
And also, This is my 3rd time saying it, but I want to make sure very clear. I don't know Ari very well. I only seen him a few times probably, and that was when I was first starting out. It's always I don't have a take on it.
Yeah.
It's just you saying like, oh, how come you didn't defend me? It's like,
well, I don't want to put it like Ari going. I don't want to make sure that I skewed it too much. Like Ari was hurt, but I think there's probably times that people ask me about it and I kind of just try to dodge it.
But what would the defense be? Is it Ari's a good guy, this aside, or we like this joke?
It was a joke. I think Ari's defense was that was a joke.
So this thing that I said isn't a real encapsulation of the character of who I am.
Right. This is a joke. I'm a comedian and I should be given full. And by the way, I don't want to be putting words in Ari's mouth. And I don't know if that's what Ari would say, but I will say that I felt like he would want everyone to go, it was a joke. You didn't get the joke.
I could respect that part.
Yeah.
So he wants you to defend his character, not the choice.
And I think at the time, what I was saying to him was, I think maybe and I think a lot of this has been tricky for me, but my characterization of Ari going, he just drugged me. I'm not going to defend him.
But it was a joke.
Yeah, well, in all honesty, I think he looked at the drugging as like, I think he really honestly was shocked that that Leanne was upset. I think he was shocked. I think he was like, this is what we do. Every now and then by the way, it is totally within like the Joey Diaz, Segura, Rogan. Like,
so it's like, what's that show? Jackass kind of stuff?
I guess. I don't know. I mean, I think, look, not to, like you said, I don't want to get into this. I don't want to.
Should we stop then? Or is
no. I don't mind talking about it, but it's like, I think I didn't help out.
The thing is, it's also you have to check in with yourself of what is it that I'm defending? Am I defending somebody in spite of something, or am I defending them because of something?
Yeah.
And if I disagree with somebody's choice, it's still a nice friendship thing to do, but you got to figure out when you feel comfortable doing it. But if somebody's being attacked for something that you don't believe is true, then like how I felt, then I feel like I don't need to defend everything, but I do think it's a responsibility of a friend to say, listen, this part of this story, I don't buy it.
Yeah.
Why?
I know
What are we
you're saying.
defending? Are we?
It's like going into radio and they go, "What do you think about Amy Schumer?" And it's like, and you go, "I'm doing morning radio. They want me to trash her. I have some things I could think that are a little unsavory, or I could just go, or I could just go, she's a great person. She's actually not a bad person."
Why? Yeah,
You could think of the thing that you'd be like, oh, I heard one story about her, or you could go, and then sometimes more often than not, a lot of people think the traffic they might get from the.
Of course, that's the social media. It's so fucking gross. It's a lot easier for people to go up on Yelp and leave a negative review than a positive one. People love doing it.
I did it once.
A negative one?
No, so was deserved. So was deserved. And then I did Rogan the next week, and he goes, and Rogan's like, who even leaves a fucking Yelp review? I go, I do. I did. I said normally I actually leave positive ones, really glowingly positive ones now. But at the time I left a negative one, and I said, this place fucking sucked, Joe. I asked the guy, I sat down, I just flown into Baltimore. I sat down at the bar. I said, you got anything good local beer? And he goes, Coors. And I went, okay, I'll take a Coors. And I was like, I'll take a fucking Heineken. What a fucking dick. And then I said, so I'm in a good mood. I'm getting ready to take a nap.
Yeah, your arms are tired.
Yeah. And I go, so what's good on the menu? And he goes, I don't know, turkey sandwich. I said, for real? He said, you like turkey sandwiches? I said, yeah. And he goes, great. Brings out a turkey sandwich, and it's the worst turkey sandwich I've ever had. And I light this fucking place up on Yelp. I light it up. And I tell Joe about it. And then I get an email from the owner of the place.
Good.
Hey, man, what the fuck?
Did you say the name of the place on it?
I said the name of the place.
Oh, come on.
I said all of it.
It's one bad bartender.
Yeah, that's what he said. That guy has been fired. I have mortgaged my house, double mortgaged my house to open this restaurant.
Yeah.
Listen, man, I would much assume know that I have a bad bartender than you go in and trash my restaurant on Rogan. And now people are leaving bad Yelp reviews just because you mentioned the name of my place.
Bert.
And then you're sitting there going, I didn't know anyone listened to Rogan. Like, I mean, I knew at the time. Now you do. Back then, this is fucking, when you did it in his house. And so I fucking was like, God, I'm sorry. And he was like, no, man.
Next time you're in that city, you got to do a promo at their place.
The food was so bad.
Stop.
He knows. By the way, if he's still listening, he'll just murder me one day.
Yeah. Well,
I'm a fucking nightmare. I need to. That's why I need to stop talking and just go like pump some brakes.
I don't stop talking. Just
or think about what I say. It's so fun when you don't think about what you say.
Make sure that you have somebody like what a Kalila is for Bobby every now and then.
Who goes
like she's just, hey, stop. Don't talk about that.
But Kalila's a fucking saint. Can you imagine being married to Bobby Lee? Or not married, but you know.
I can't imagine doing podcasts with him.
I can't imagine being married to me. Who's my wife talking to?
I don't know. No, I don't know what it's like, but she came on my podcast and talked about it and gave a lot of like sincerely interesting perspective on it.
She is amazing.
I didn't know her at all. Bobby had me on Tiger Belly.
Tiger Belly's a great fucking podcast.
My girlfriend is a fan of Kalila's and told me like she likes Kalila. So that all I know is my girlfriend likes Kalila. I don't know her.
Yeah.
And I go on the podcast and I didn't know at the time, but Kalila had a very bad impression of me based on an interaction once. Of
I thought she was like, hi, I'm Rick Glassman.
About bad impression of me. No. Yeah, it was just very, very just like the joke you just did. I don't know why I'm still doing it. And then we kind of like hashed it out on the thing. And she's so smart.
She's smart as fuck. She's a great athlete.
Yeah. Collegiate swimmer.
Yeah. I don't see you constantly look, I'm sure people go, why is she with Bert? Right? Like what happened to her that she decided Bert is the solution?
The pieces fit.
Yeah. Like what the fuck? I think it to myself. Sometimes I look at her and I go, what happened to you?
What a nice feeling to have. Like like to feel like, I understand that feeling of like, I'm glad I got her.
Yeah. I would that chick, my wife is a fucking, it's weird.
Wait until her teeth are fixed.
Well, I know. But this fucking Invisalign just looks like you haven't brushed your teeth in a week. It just looks gross. You're like, and then she got little bumps on her teeth because you need those because then that.
Here's an
pushes them in.
example. She's like, why are you telling people this?
Yeah, this is a perfect.
Don't tell people about the teeth bumps.
But I don't want to change who I am and who I am. I overshare.
There's
I don't want to take your bit. Like, so if something happened between me and you where it's a great bit, I'm very proprietorship over
just
like
watch Shark Tank for the first time.
I didn't want to take your bit, but if some, like when Segura fell, I didn't want to tell his story.
Right.
Like I understood that. But once he's told his story, I'll share my experience with the event or yeah, I don't know.
It's just developing instincts, and you have to question things. Even if you don't change, you have to question things. You have to, if Sebastian said he didn't want you to tell that story, or somebody says they don't want you to take your shirt off, you have to take these things in, and you're not going to be about 100%. You have to figure out when am I gambling with my money versus somebody else's money?
Yeah.
And you have to kind of find that. I don't know. I have a hard time with it. I get so insecure. I was dating a girl once where I there's a story where I met a girl online, and at the time she was in Hawaii, but she lives in Los Angeles. And it's this great story where she was going to come back. We were going to get a coffee. And then she ended up not being able to come back. And coincidentally, Brent Morin had just gone to Hawaii by himself to do a show. I'm like, I want to go to Hawaii. So I'm like, I'll go. How about we get a coffee in Hawaii? And she said, sure. And I went to Hawaii. And it was just this funny, cool weekend story. And I couldn't, for a while, I couldn't tell the story because I felt like if anybody figures out somehow through algebra of different stories who this person might be, or am I telling their story of letting somebody, I was so insecure about it.
Yeah.
And then I realized somebody told me that you're allowed to tell your stories.
Yeah.
But I'm still and I do think it comes from being a kid and people telling my story. We're like, I'm not there for it.
Oh, see, I just tell my story and then I apologize for the shrapnel afterwards. And I just go, like I texted Lisa Creo and I was like, I'm so sorry. I don't remember if you cried or didn't cry. But my recollection is that you cried. And I was like, come on my podcast and please defend yourself and call me a fucking dickhead. And I'm cool with that also. Like if Sebastian Bach wants to hit me up and be like, fuck him, we smoked weed. Like he can't say we didn't smoke weed. We smoked weed. Like that's the other part is I go, don't pull out a joint in a green room. You know, like don't take your dick out and jerk off in front of people if you don't think they're gonna call you out. Maybe sometimes.
Yeah, but it's like a therapist. Like there's a therapist client. What's the thing?
You don't listen.
Confidentiality.
But when it comes to drugs, weed, you can't talk about. You can if you smoke weed with someone, they're gonna say they got high with you.
But what I'm saying is there is
coke. I understand. I get it. We don't talk about that.
I agree with you.
Yeah,
I agree with you that weed is fine, but that's my opinion.
Yeah.
A therapist keeps everything themselves unless they feel like, they need to go to people. Those type of things, I don't know. I feel like
I've had, now that you're bringing up weird feelings with me, because now I've had people go, hey man, don't tell people about that to me. And I was like, go fuck yourself.
As if I would? Or as if why not?
Or no, I already did. I already did. And they're like, hey man, people need to know that. And I'm like, hold on 1 second. You didn't do anything bad, and you don't own me. I was there also.
What if you're at my house?
Okay.
You're doing my podcast.
Yeah.
Take your shoes off. And you come over and my girlfriend's there. And during the podcast, coincidentally, something happens between her and I, right? Or my business, her business, our business, whatever it is, you experience it. Bert, sorry, man, give me like 5 minutes. Let me figure this out. Obviously, I'm going to edit this shit out. You were there for it. Is that now something you could talk about?
No. If we're at your house and...
What if it happened here? What if my girlfriend were here and then she gets a call about something? And Rick, I'm so sorry. Dude, you got to edit this stuff out. Sure.
Yeah.
We talk.
No, I don't. Okay, you got to make it interesting. I only tell the interesting stuff. Like
it's interesting.
It's interesting.
Something interesting happens.
She comes in with a gun in her hand. She goes, get in the fucking car now. And you go, I got to leave.
Yeah, well, see,
I don't tell that on a. I don't.
But that's see, there's so many variables that then affects your safety. So you're now involved.
Yeah.
This is more. Her water broke, but during quarantine, she never let anybody, even her parent. You don't know this. She didn't let her parents know that she's pregnant. Nobody knows about this.
Yeah.
Her water broke. You happen to know about. Oh fuck.
Secret. I keep it.
But that's a crazy story.
But I don't.
And we birth them right there. We birth them right there.
Oh, I tell everyone if you gave birth on my house,
but nobody can know yet, dude.
But
I don't tell you that.
I won't tell. Oh, you don't tell me that?
I don't tell you. All you know is, hey man, you got to edit this out. Nobody knows that she's pregnant yet.
Then I wouldn't share it.
So people basically need to say this is off the record. Otherwise, it's fair game.
I think. I mean, there's certain things like I don't speak for anyone. I don't speak on behalf of people. I've learned that the
proprietary way.
Like yeah. But I don't. It's weird. It's play by play for me. I'm trying to think.
Let's leave it on a cliffhanger.
It's play by play. It's
play by play.
Because I'm pretty much open book, and I allow you to talk about anything that ever happens with me. Because I try to live a pure life, and if I go to your house and I take a shit in your toilet and I break your toilet, which has happened.
Breaking a toilet or clogging it?
I broke some dude's toilet at a hot Christmas party once, and he told everyone at school. And then he came up and he's like, "Hey man, I'm sorry. I've told everyone. I don't give a fuck. I broke your toilet.
Yeah,
I took a shit. I ruined your toilet. I owe you a toilet. I get it. I'm pretty. See, that's the thing.
Did you buy him a toilet?
I get naked. No, he said it was fine. I get naked in front of everyone, so I show everything.
Yeah.
And so I am shocked when there are people that craft or they don't want certain things shared.
I'm more. I also, my boundaries are very fluid.
Yeah,
and it's something that I often have to check in with. Just because I'm okay with it doesn't mean I have those same instincts. Like who cares?
Yeah,
I mean, some things obviously, you don't want
certain
to come out, but
certain things I would
show your dick if you don't want your dick shown.
Yeah, don't show your dick if you don't want your dick shown is my theory on how I live my life. I'm pretty cool and honest and across the board with people, but
sometimes somebody's dick accidentally gets shown,
and I won't if you accidentally show me your dick, and it's a no harm no foul, you're a good person, I'm not gonna tell anyone about it. But if your dick gets accidentally shown, and that's a thing that's happening a lot, I'm probably going to tell people you show your dick.
I understand. Hey, listen, that's the world today. That's why I always say, always show your dick with intent.
And that's a perfect way to
It better
end the
be funny.
podcast. Dude, this has been a blast. Thank you, man.
Yeah,
this
man.
is probably, honestly, some of the best podcasting I've done. That is Magic the Gathering. I swear to God. Some of my favorite thing I've ever done on the show.
Well, I appreciate it. I had fun. We can end it here, but I do have a gift for you.
What's that?
So the gift I have, I don't know if it would fit you, so I brought a secondary gift.
Okay.
What size sweatshirt are you?
XL.
I only have a large of the one I wanted to give you.
Okay.
So the other one, I have an XL. I don't know if you would wear because you are past. This is merch I have now.
Oh, is that your merch?
Yeah.
Not passed at the Comedy Store?
Yeah. it's my big comedy hurdle. They won't have me. He's
for real.
He said I'm not fit for the club. So I wear it as a badge of honor.
What's the large?
The largest is my take your shoes off goblin merch.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Maybe I'll send you something then in an XL.
No, yeah.
Would you wear this?
I would definitely wear that.
XL?
Yeah. I would definitely wear that. You know who's gonna definitely steal it from me is my daughter Isla. We'll rock
I'll
it.
get her one in her size.
She only wears XLs.
That's her size.
This is perfect.
My advice to you is wash it once inside out because there's a little debris and then you're good. Cold, perfect. Air dry.
This is a great podcast, Rick.
I had fun, man. Thanks for having me.
I'm so glad I met you. I really think you're an interesting, smart, fucking insightful dude.
I heard about you. I mean, I don't want to keep going, but I heard about you a couple of years ago because of Brent Morin. Mm-hmm. We all, you know Brent, right?
Yeah, very well. I'd say very well. That's me talking hyperbole.
Yeah,
I know
way to catch yourself.
Yeah.
We were Brent and I used to live in the same building that I was talking about before, and I'm sure he knew you before, but he was talking about your social media. I think this connects to your promos and stuff. I started following you because of that. And I followed you. I didn't watch the podcast. I didn't know much of podcasts. Yeah. I listened to Dax. I listened to Riffin' with Griffin. And after doing our podcast, I started listening. Yeah. And I really like you. And I'm really glad that we became friendly.
I'm really glad we did too. I'm really glad. And I would love to do Take Your Shoes Off.
Whenever you're comfortable, just so you know, I am We do it on the balcony. I am very safe.
By the way, the fact that you were doing it at all made me curious. So I was like, because I wasn't doing anything in person, and then watching you behave here, I was like, oh, okay, he's totally safe. He's totally safe. Yeah, you're more safe than I am.
I do them. I don't know if you've seen it. Literally you're outside on the balcony.
Yeah.
There's a glass window between us.
Headsets.
What's that?
Headsets.
We'll have to. Otherwise, we can't hear each other. It's literally through a closed door.
Oh, you just wouldn't read lips. I love horseback riding. And you're like, that's
You
not what I
can't say
asked.
that. You can't say. Wait, what did he say? I don't know.
This has been a blast.
Yeah, man. Appreciate
Thank
it,
you.
dude.
Fuck yeah.